ever since his parents were rescued by a mysterious figure. The Chun family dispatched people to investigate his background. However, strangely enough, his parents seemed to have appeared in Jinling over 2 decades ago, then vanished without a trace. Of course, his origins weren't a major concern for the Chun family. The important thing was that my sister, ignoring all advice, adamantly went to Jinling to search for him. My father, helpless and with no other recourse, had to arrange for 3 people to pose as his parents and younger sister, hoping to dissuade her. After revealing the whole truth, Chen Jinhao breathed a sigh of relief and left the room. Lin Fan sat alone on the sofa, lost in deep thought. A mix of joy and worry filled his heart. Joy that his parents were still alive, but worried about the true identity of his savior. Even a powerful force like the Chun family couldn't find any information about this person's background, suggesting they came from an extraordinary origin. Lin Fan immersed himself in his memories, searching for clues from his childhood. His parents were just ordinary, hardworking laborers who spent their lives toiling tirelessly to raise him and his sister. They had never displayed anything out of the ordinary. Could this mysterious person be his Shifu master? The thought flashed through Lin Fan's mind, but he immediately dismissed it. His Shifu saw all living beings as insignificant as blades of grass. His life consumed by the desire to break free from earthly shackles and ascend to immortality. How could such a person have saved his parents? But if his Shifu had truly shown compassion, he would undoubtedly have been the one to save them. So where were they now? Could his Shifu have imprisoned his parents somewhere, forcing them to cultivate immortality? This theory was clearly absurd. His Shifu was dead. He had buried him with his own hands. By now, the grass on his Shifu's grave must be lush and overgrown. That's right. His Shifu's urn. A sudden thought struck Lin Fan. This could be a vital clue. With this in mind, he called for his sister, relayed everything Chan Sanhao had just confessed. Hearing this, Lin Yunxiao was deeply shaken, her heart in turmoil. I was only 10 years old at the time. My memories are very hazy. I vaguely remember he was wearing black clothes, about 30 years old, around 1.8 meters tall. Lin Fan furrowed his brow in thought. These characteristics were far too common. You could grab any random person off the street, and they might fit the description. All right, it seems he also had a leg injury. He walked with a limp. Lin Yunxiao suddenly added. Lin Fan nodded slightly. 15 years had passed. Searching for him was like looking for a needle in a haystack. Just then, Lin Fan's phone rang. Glancing at the screen, he saw it was Yi Tianxin calling. Earlier, he had sent Yi Tianxin to Yunchuan to investigate the Chun family. It seemed he had news to report. Xiao Qiao, go back to your room. I need to take this call outside. Lin Fan gave his younger sister a few quiet words and discreetly stepped into a secluded corner, answering his phone. As soon as the call connected, Yi Tianxin's panicked and urgent voice filled the line. Young Master Lin, you asked me to investigate the Chun family strength, and I've gathered some preliminary information. The Chun family is one of the top 3 martial arts families in Yunchuan. On the surface, they possess at least 20 experts at the Earth Realm, with around 8 of them having reached the Sky Realm. Chun Bei Xian, the Chun family patriarch, was already a formidable 8th-level Sky Realm expert 5 years ago. By now, he's likely broken through to the 9th level of the Sky Realm. Yi Tianxin delivered his report hastily, but his voice grew increasingly faint and weak, reduced to barely a whisper, as if teetering on the brink of death. What's wrong? What happened? Lin Fan asked anxiously. Young Master Lin, I'm sorry. I'm afraid I won't be able to return. My assassin is from the Wang family in Hangzhou. It was the Wang family who massacred the entire Yi clan, and now they dare to chase me all the way to Yunchuan. If you can, please avenge me. Seek justice for the 137 lives of the Yi clan. I, Yi Tian, harbor this hatred, driven mad for 25 years, resorting to any means, absorbing human blood to cultivate demonic arts. Yet I remain weak and powerless. Yi Tian's voice was raspy, each word laced with pain and despair. Before Lin Fan could respond, a burst of contemptuous laughter erupted from the other end of the line. Oh, who is this pathetic worm crying out to? I love watching you rage in fury, while you can do absolutely nothing to me. Wang Ming, I will fight you to the death. Yi Tian roared in anguish. The call abruptly ended. Although Lin Fan preferred to stay out of trouble, Yi Tian was the first disciple he had taken in since coming down from the mountain. This was the first time A man's first time always holds a profound significance. Lin Fan cleverly placed a spiritual mark on Mie Tianxin as a precaution against any sinister plots the old man might have. Now, by simply following this spiritual mark, he could easily track down Mie Tianxin's whereabouts. Lin Fan transformed into a blinding streak of light, shooting across the night sky, quickly vanishing into the darkness. In a deserted factory, amidst the desolate wasteland of Yunchuan, Mie Tianxin was bound tightly to a cold steel chair. His body slumped, his breath shallow and weak, barely a thread. Clearly, he had just endured a horrific and brutal torture. Facing Mie Tianxin was a middle-aged man with a fierce and gruesome face. He was a peak Earth Realm martial artist, none other than Wang Ming from the earlier phone call. Besides Wang Ming, there were 3 other people, 2 men and a woman. If anyone familiar were present, they would surely recognize all 3 of them. All were renowned martial arts masters in the Yunchuan world. The large, burly man was Shi Men Dui Feng, possessing the cultivation level of post-heaven first stage. His overlord blade technique was virtually unbeatable at the same level. No one knew the name of the thin, frail man, only his title, Fragrant Heron. Also at post-heaven first stage, he mastered supreme movement techniques, once escaping from the grasp of an innate expert. The graceful beauty in crimson was Miao Wu Song. Though only at the mid-earth realm, she was versed in mystical ancient arts. Wang Ming, finish him already. Torturing a useless piece of trash like this is boring, utterly uninteresting. We have more important matters to attend to. Shi Men Dui Feng spoke impatiently. The 3 of us came here to cooperate with Wang Ming precisely for that ancient tomb. Brother Shi Men, you are mistaken. This Etion Xian might possess a secret that we have been searching for all this time. Wang Ming gave a cryptic smile. Not long ago, in the vast martial world of Yun Chuanlan, rumors began to swirl about a mysterious immortal's tomb hidden north of the towering Hung Duan Mountains. Legend had it that the tomb contained countless rare treasures and artifacts, from miraculous elixirs and secret cultivation techniques to divine weapons, all gathered in one place. Initially, this rumor was dismissed as a mere tall tale, with few believing it. However, 3 days ago, the head of a small, insignificant clan suddenly achieved a breakthrough from the early Earth realm to the post-heaven realm, a meteoric rise. He publicly declared that it was thanks to consuming a divine pill from the ancient tomb that his cultivation had advanced so rapidly. This shocking news immediately sent ripples throughout the entire Yun Chuan martial world, even reaching the ears of martial arts experts in neighboring regions. Martial artists from all corners of the land flocked to Yun Chuan, joining the search for the ancient tomb. Drawn by this enticing rumor, these 4 also arrived in Yun Chuan, deciding to join forces and cooperate. However, the tomb's whereabouts remained elusive, while Wang Bing was preoccupied with settling his own personal scores in the Jianghu. This caused a wave of indignation to wash over the other 3. From what I've heard, over 2 decades ago, Etion Xian and Zheng Sanshui were sworn brothers, ready to die for each other. Wang Ming gave a knowing smile. Hearing this, the other 3 exchanged glances, immediately grasping the underlying meaning of Wang Ming's words. Zheng Sanshui is the head of that insignificant little clan, the one who stumbled upon a stroke of heavenly luck. Moreover, when he arrived in Yunchuan a few days ago, the first place Etion Xian visited and inquired about was the Zheng family. In that case, let's proceed, the other 3 said in unison. Wang Ming suddenly drew a sharp knife, plunging it into Yi Tian Xian's leg. The excruciating pain tore through his flesh, causing Yi Tian Xian to lose consciousness. When he awoke, his eyes snapped open, bloodshot and filled with indignant rage, fixed on Wang Ming. Wang Ming, if you're a real man, give me a quick, painless death. I won't answer any of your questions. Facing his sworn enemy, Etion Xian couldn't maintain his composure. Each time the memory of his family's slaughter resurfaced, he was filled with bone-chilling hatred, wishing he could chop Wang Ming into 100 pieces. Is that so? Wang Ming raised an eyebrow, his eyes icy cold. He pulled the dagger out of Yi Tianxin's leg and, without hesitation, plunged it into the man's hand. Yi Tianxin screamed in agony, pain consuming him. The excruciating pain caused his entire body to convulse violently. Ew. You will face retribution. Retribution? That's only for the weak, not for the strong like me. Wang Ming scoffed, his tone dripping with contempt. He continued, your wife and daughter, they were truly exquisite. Even after 25 years, I still remember them vividly. Their taste, it was truly intoxicating, an unforgettable experience. I should have locked your daughter away, savored her slowly. Hearing this, Yi Tianxin's eyes became bloodshot with rage. He struggled frantically, but to no avail. Seeing Yi Tianxin practically spitting blood in anger, Wang Ming felt an immense sense of pleasure. All right, I'll ask one last time. What were you doing at the Zeng residence? Just tell me, and I'll stop torturing you. What's more, I'll let you in on a shocking secret. Your younger sister's daughter, Yi Qian, is still in my hands. Hearing this, Yi Tianxin's eyes widened in disbelief as he stared at Wang Ming. What are you saying? That year, when I led the attack on the Yi family, I saw a newborn baby girl crawling on the ground. Pity stirred within me, so I took her in and raised her. Now, she's 20 years old. A breathtaking beauty, the spitting image of your sister, Yi Qian. Oh, and she still doesn't know her true identity, still believes wholeheartedly that I am her father. She calls me father every single day. Hearing these venomous words, Yi Tianxin could no longer contain himself and roared in fury. I'll kill you, you monster. Shimen Due Fong and the other two stood beside him, their faces etched with utter horror. This Wang Ming was truly depraved. Even I shudder at his cruelty. Wang Ming then took out his phone and made a video call. Shortly after, the lovely face of a young girl appeared on the screen. Baba, why are you calling me so late? The girl asked, her voice as sweet as honey. It's nothing. I just miss my daughter. Oh, let me show you someone. Wang Ming gave a sly smile, then turned the camera towards Yi Tianxin. Seeing the girl on the screen, Yi Tianxin burst into tears. She really is my sister's daughter, the spitting image. He was about to say something more, but Wang Ming quickly shifted the camera away. Baba, who is that? They look so ugly. Just a beggar. I've already taught him a lesson. All right, go to sleep now. We'll talk more when I get back. After hanging up, Wang Ming looked at Yi Tianxin with a mocking gaze. Now, you can confess. What is your purpose in coming to the Zeng family? I can tell you, but you have to release my niece. Yi Tianxin said, his voice hoarse with anguish. Hatred and helplessness surged within him. Wang Ming sneered. I am her father now. You think she'd ever leave my side? I can assure you of one thing. I will love and cherish her, care for her deeply, treat her like a precious jewel, hold her in the palm of my hand, and shield her from all hardship. Wang Ming, what are you implying? Yi Tianxin gasped, her hands clenching into fists. After a moment of agonizing internal struggle, Yi Tianxin composed herself and spoke. I went to the Zeng family only to inquire about the Qin family. Zeng, Sanshui, never breathed a word to me about the immortal's tomb. Wang Ming, I only ask that you keep your promise and treat my niece well. Otherwise, even as a vengeful spirit, I will not let you rest. Yes, Wang Ming laughed heartily at her words. Such a breathtaking, delicate beauty. How could I ever mistreat her? I'll not only treat her well, but I'll invite my friends to care for her as well, ensuring she experiences ultimate pleasure and delight. What are you talking about? Yi Tianxin roared indignantly. That's none of your concern. Wang Ming retorted coldly. He realized Yi Tianxin didn't seem to be lying. It seemed the old man truly knew nothing about the ancient tomb. This put Wang Ming in a foul mood, his hopes nearly extinguished. Yi Tianxin, you can meet your maker now. Wang Ming didn't want to waste any more time. He prepared to finish off Yi Tianxin. But just at that moment, creak, creak, the factory door was suddenly pushed open. Everyone turned their heads to look towards the door. A young man strolled in casually, with a relaxed and composed demeanor. Quite a lively scene for this time of night, isn't it? Lin Fan finished speaking, his gaze falling upon Yi Tianxin, who was tied tightly to the chair. He was a bit surprised. This old geezer is still alive. Yi Tianxin also saw Lin Fan, his heart filled with astonishment. Young Master Lin, weren't you just in Jinling? Jinling is over 1,000 kilometers away from Yunchuan. Even by plane, it would take more than 2 hours. How could he have gotten here so fast? But in the next moment, a stinging sensation filled his nose, and tears streamed down his face uncontrollably. He had thought he was going to die here for sure. But unexpectedly, young Master Lin had suddenly appeared. Every man longs for a belief in the light, and young Master Lin was the glimmer of hope in his dark life, his guiding star. "Who are you?" Wang Ming demanded. He sized Lin Fan up from head to toe, noticing that he didn't possess even a trace of martial aura, and regained his composure. "I'll kill you after I find out who you are." Only one person was deathly pale and trembling all over, and that was Miao Wushuang. Because the moment Lin Fan walked in, the Gu King within her suddenly felt an overwhelming terror, as if it had encountered its nemesis, an insurmountable force. Every true Gu master dedicates themselves to nurturing a powerful Gu King. This Gu King is raised on the Gu master's own blood essence, enduring countless brutal life or death battles, facing off against hundreds of different Gu insects. Gu insect and Gu master share a profound spiritual connection, a deep bond. Every emotion, every tremor of the Gu insect is intimately understood by the Gu master. Miwu Wushuang once clashed with an exceptional master, a powerful expert who had reached the postnatal 9th layer realm. Yet, her Gu King remained unyielding and resolute, showing no fear. But now, faced with this enigmatic young man, her Gu King trembled in terror, overwhelmed by fear. What secret does this hold? What does it signify? Each time she nurtured a Gu, the girl meticulously selected over 10 different Gu insects, then placed them into a large earthenware jar, leaving them to slaughter each other. The one that survived to the end became the chosen Gu King. Next, the Gu Master's fresh blood was required, combined with the mystical secret arts of the Wu tribe for dedicated nurturing. Finally, Gu Insect and Gu Master would achieve a state of spiritual communion, becoming one. The Gu Master could sense even the slightest emotional fluctuation of her natal Gu. Every subtle shift in its mood was immediately perceptible to her. The moment the man stepped into the Gu King's mansion, Gu Master Miao Wushuang's face instantly paled. In that very instant, her natal Gu transmitted a feeling of sheer terror, as if facing its natural predator, an irresistible fear. This feeling was so intense it made her tremble like facing an insurmountable being. This indicated that the man before her had at least reached the Xiantian realm. "You can't even tell I'm an AI?" Lin Fan casually strode towards Wang Ming. "How laughable. Why would I need to know who you are?" Wang Ming narrowed his eyes, his gaze sharp. He secretly channeled his energy into his right hand, waiting for Lin Fan to get close enough to unleash a fatal blow. But Lin Fan simply flicked his wrist, and Wang Ming felt as if a truck at breakneck speed had slammed into his stomach. His entire body was sent flying, crashing hard against the rusty steel frame within the factory. Witnessing this scene, the faces of everyone in the room simultaneously changed, their internal energy bursting forth. This kid was a postnatal realm expert. Moreover, not just an ordinary postnatal first stage. Miao Wusong's limbs trembled. She stealthily retreated towards the door, intending to slip away. But Lin Fan merely glanced at her, and she froze stiff. It felt like being stared down by a ferocious prehistoric beast, staring right at her. Even the goo worm inside her seemed to freeze, completely unresponsive to her control. "You're truly useless. How many times have I saved you?" Lin Fan strode forward and untied Yi Tianxin with a flick of his wrist. Yi Tianxin's whole body trembled, not from fear, but from indignation. He recounted the entire incident with seething rage. Lin Fan frowned. This Wang Ming was even more twisted than him. He had only exterminated families. But that Wang Ming not only exterminated families, but also heartlessly raped women, even dared to kidnap newborns to raise them. This is truly a sick and twisted conspiracy. Raising a Lolita. You have some nerve treating us like we're invisible. Shimen Due, Fong couldn't hold back any longer. He roared Overlord Blade and swung his blade directly at Lin Fan. Seeing this, Lin Fan simply extended his right hand, and with a squeeze, bang! Shimen Due, Fong instantly exploded, his body turning into a bloody mess. Skinny witnessed the horrifying scene, and without hesitation, abandoned his companion and desperately ran for his life. In the blink of an eye, he had run hundreds of meters, disappearing into the dark night. But just when everyone thought he had escaped successfully from the deep darkness, a A blood-curdling scream from Skinny suddenly echoed. Hearing that desperate cry, Miao Wusong knew Skinny was dead. She trembled all over, knelt down on the ground, and pleaded, "Senior, spare my life. Senior, please spare me. I didn't harm Yi Tianxin. I'm innocent. Senior, please believe me." A brownish-yellow insect also suddenly jumped out, chirping repeatedly as if begging Lin Fan for its life. Witnessing the scene before him, Lin Fan couldn't help but gasp in astonishment. "You're Gu Master?" "Indeed, I am a 98th generation Gu Master of the Wu clan," the girl replied, her voice filled with pride. Miao Wusong hurriedly pleaded, "Senior, please, for the sake of the Wu clan, spare me. I truly did not harm Yi Tianxin," he desperately explained. Hearing this, Lin Fan fell in a deep thought. After a moment, he gently waved his hand towards the yellowish-brown insect. The insect chirped and flew to land on Lin Fan's hand. It acted incredibly docile, like a tiny pet. Lin Fan gently squeezed the insect. The soft, squishy feeling like squeezing a lump of soft excrement made him slightly disgusted. "Is this a goo worm? It looks so strange," Lin Fan exclaimed. His master had told him stories about the mysterious Gu Masters of the Wu clan, but he had never witnessed one with his own eyes. Seeing one now, he felt a surge of fascination and curiosity. After letting Miao Wusong go, Lin Fan began to recall his master's teachings. The Wu clan was a powerful group, divided into 12 different branches. Each branch possessed its own unique and secret techniques. Gu techniques were just one of those mystical arts. Lin Fan decided to release Miao Wusong because he wanted to find an opportunity to approach the Wu clan, investigate the origins of this mysterious tribe. "I'll give you 10 minutes to settle your personal score. Stop when the time is up." Lin Fan instructed Yi Tianxin and strode out. The hatred between Yi Tianxin and the Wang family ran deep as the ocean. Wang Ming was completely defenseless. Let Yi Tianxin handle this himself. As soon as Lin Fan stepped outside, he heard Wang Ming's agonizing screams, echoing from inside the factory. About 7 minutes later, Yi Tianxin emerged. His face was a mixture of madness and reverence for young Master Lin. "Thank you very much this time. If it weren't for you, I would not only have died shamefully, but I also wouldn't have been able to avenge myself." "What's your next plan?" Lin Fan asked. "I want to find my niece. I want to destroy the Wang family." Mia Tianxin looked at Lin Fan with pleading eyes. Lin Fan understood his intentions and gestured for him to extend his hand. Then, using his finger, he inscribed a mysterious ancient character onto Mia Tianxin's palm. It was a special kind of talisman, usable only 3 times. But powerful enough to annihilate the entire royal family. "Use it with caution," Lin Fan warned. "Thank you, young Master Lin." Mia Tianxin struggled to contain his excitement, hesitated for a moment, then told Lin Fan about the tomb of an immortal. The tomb is located in the Hengduan Mountains. Upon hearing this, Lin Fan's expression suddenly changed. His master was also buried in the Hengduan Mountains. Could it be that his master's tomb had been disturbed? With this thought, Lin Fan instantly transformed into a streak of white light, soaring towards his master's tomb. In the blink of an eye, he arrived. The tomb remained untouched, just as he had left it. The only difference was a few blades of fresh green grass sprouting on the mound. It seemed this immortal's tomb had nothing to do with his master's grave. Lin Fan breathed a sigh of relief. Night had fallen, and darkness enveloped everything. Should he exhume his master's body? He had buried his master with his own hands. And inside the coffin were many valuable treasures buried as funeral objects. Lin Fan hesitated, his heart filled with uncertainty. Initially, he harbored deep resentment towards his master, but after experiencing the storms of life, the rage in his heart had subsided somewhat. But that didn't matter anymore. The crux of the matter was that if he could retrieve the treasures within the tomb, he could use them to support and nurture his younger sister, Chenino. "Master, forgive my disrespect. After exhuming you, I will respectfully address you as Master once more." With those words, Lin Fan began to dig up the grave. The grave wasn't large, and soon the coffin appeared before his eyes. Looking at the pristine, untouched coffin, Lin Fan sighed and gently opened the lid. But the coffin was empty. There was no one inside. "What's going on?" Lin Fan exclaimed, breaking the eerie silence. He clearly remembered placing his master's remains in the Chinkoan bag, inside the coffin, burying it with his own hands. Why was it empty now? Could grave robbers have been here? Lin Fan surveyed the scene with a cold gaze, using his divine sense to scan the entire area surrounding the tomb. But he couldn't find a single clue. In other words, this place had been completely deserted since he left. Or could his master still be alive? Could the old man have escaped from the coffin himself after he left? If so, what was his master's purpose? Just then, Lin Fan sensed a faint trace of energy emanating from within the dilapidated Taoist temple. He immediately teleported to the temple and saw a jet-black command token emitting a weak spiritual aura. This token hadn't been there before. Could his master have intentionally left it behind? Lin Fan cautiously examined the token and discovered a faint map hidden on its surface. The map led to a small mountain deep within the Hungduan Mountains. That damned old man. Lin Fan gritted his teeth. I regret not burning him to ashes. He never expected his master to pull such an elaborate trick before passing away. Lin Fan quickly located the mountain, marked on the token. He sensed a strange aura shrouding the mountain. Not only did it emanate a bizarre energy field that interfered with his spiritual sense, but there were also many other martial artists, frantically searching for something on the mountain. All these martial artists possessed profound cultivation levels, including quite a few experts at the postnatal realm. Could this immortal's tomb be related to Master? Lin Fan wondered to himself, then transformed into a lightning bolt and shot towards the mountain. In a dark corner of the dense forest, two figures were moving stealthily. One of them was Wang Yuexian, the sect leader of the Jinling Martial Alliance. The other person was a middle-aged woman of striking beauty, named Lin Xiaohong. She was the widow of the prestigious Lin family in Hangzhou. In short, a breathtaking beauty, skilled in the arts of the bedchamber. However, she was only a peak Earth realm martial artist, still unable to break through to the postnatal realm. Thus, upon hearing rumors of an immortal's tomb, she came here with Wang Yuexian, hoping to find an opportunity for a breakthrough. Oh, what a surprise. Isn't this the beautiful Lady Lin? Interested in the immortal's tomb as well? Interested in this immortal's tomb, are we? Just then, a teasing voice rang out beside them. Lin Xiaohong and Wang Yuexian turned simultaneously, seeing a group of people slowly approaching them. Leading the group was a middle-aged man, a sly smile playing on his lips, his eyes fixed on Lin Xiaohong with a scrutinizing gaze. Seeing this man, a cunning glint flashed in Lin Xiaohong's eyes, and she said with a charming smile, I thought it was an artificial intelligence. Turns out it's a friend from the Nangong family. That middle-aged man is Nangong Tan, a powerful figure in the Nangong clan of Hangzhou, a cultivation master. He has reached the post-heaven 6th stage, renowned as one of the top experts in Hangzhou. For the beautiful Miss Lin to call me brother, it fills this Nangong Tan with immense joy. Nangong Tan said with a laugh. Witnessing this scene, Wang Yuexian was so angry he could sprout horns. Nangong Tan said coldly, Lin Xiaohong is my woman. Get rid of any improper thoughts in your head. With that, he grabbed Lin Xiaohong's hand, intending to leave. Lin Xiaohong hesitated for a moment, but then she shook off Wang Yuexian's hand and went to Nangong Tan's side. Wang Yuexian exclaimed in shock, Lin Xiaohong, what do you mean by this? It doesn't mean anything. I don't love you anymore. Lin Xiaohong replied indifferently. Actually, from the moment she saw Nangong Tan appear, she had changed her mind. After all, she had already given herself to him. Why not find someone stronger? Wang Yuexian craved her body, while she exploited Wang Yuexian's power. It was just a trade, a mutually beneficial agreement. Actually, I've admired Brother Nangong for a long time. Lin Xiaohong clung tightly to Nangong Tan's arm, the bastard. Witnessing this scene, Wang Yuexian was so enraged that his eyes turned bloodshot. He never expected Lin Xiaohong to be so heartless, so cruel. The further Long Fan ventured into the mountains, the more he sensed something unusual, something ominous. The temperature here was more than 10 degrees colder than outside. A thin layer of frost began to appear on the leaves. The energy in this mountain was heavy, dense. About 10 minutes later, he arrived at a sheer cliff face. A cliff face over 100 meters high. Smooth, without a single blade of grass able to grow. At the foot of the cliff were countless bloodstains, still fresh, indicating that just recently a dozen or so martial artists had been here. But according to the map on the token, This was the entrance to the mysterious tomb. However, the tomb's entrance was protected by a powerful barrier. Lin Fan reached out his hand, gently touching the imposing cliff face. The cliff, seemingly as solid as bedrock, suddenly rippled like the surface of an autumn lake. The small ripples gradually spread, forming concentric circles. Immediately after, an earth-shattering surge of energy from the cliff suddenly erupted. The power of this energy surge was enough to obliterate a cultivator at the Golden Core realm. But Lin Fan remained calm, his expression unchanged. He circulated the spiritual energy within his dantian, ready to face the challenge. The cliff face began to violently contort, as if about to collapse under the immense pressure. If he continued to try to break the barrier with brute force, the entire area would be devastated. Lin Fan pondered for a moment, then took out a mysterious black token and placed it on the cliff face. Crack! A small fissure appeared on the hard cliff face, but the crack only widened about 4 centimeters before stopping, then slowly closed as if it had never appeared. This indicated that dark token is the key to unlocking this mystical barrier. But why did it suddenly stop halfway? Could it be there's another key? That old man truly is a master of 1,000 torturous schemes. Lin Fan furrowed his brow, lost in thought. Just at that moment, he suddenly recalled what Yi Tianxin had mentioned about Zhang Sanshui. Zhang Sanshui was the pioneer, the first to spread the news about this mysterious immortal's tomb. This clearly indicated that Zhang Sanshui most likely possessed a similar token. It seemed he needed to make a trip to Yun Chuan himself. Lin Fan was just about to set off for Yun Chuan when suddenly, boom, an earth-shattering explosion erupted from the dense forest in the distance. Even from miles away, Lin Fan could feel the intense tremors of the earth. Could there be a strange creature hidden within this dense forest? Perhaps a demonic beast? A glint suddenly flashed in Lin Fan's eyes. Demonic beasts were prevalent in ancient times, but now, with the world's spiritual energy dwindling, they had become almost completely extinct. Most importantly, each demonic beast possessed a valuable inner core. This inner core was incredibly useful for cultivators. Not only could it be used to refine elixirs, but its pure energy could also be absorbed directly, like spirit stones, in a clearing deep within the forest. Martial artists from the powerful factions of Yunchuan were tightly surrounding a chaotic battlefield. Everyone's expression was incredibly grave. In the midst of the fierce battle, 2 Hodian Stage 1 experts were leading. More than 10 peak Di Jing realm martial artists in besieging a ferocious beast. The beast was pitch black, a hybrid of tiger and leopard, its entire body radiating a dense black chi, making it look incredibly terrifying. The dozen or so martial artists were completely outmatched by the ferocious beast. In the blink of an eye, half of them were dead. This monster could have possessed the terrifying strength of the Xiantian realm. A martial artist stammered, his voice filled with terror. Hearing this, Lin Xiaohong's face also turned pale. As a pampered young miss, accustomed to a life of luxury, she had never witnessed such a bloody and brutal scene. What kind of monster is this thing anyway? How would I know? Nangongtan, what do you think? Among those who were just besieged, 2 were my subordinates. Moreover, those 2 were swallowed whole by the beast. Not even their bones remain. The tomb immortal hasn't been found yet, and I've already lost 2 capable subordinates. It's incredibly frustrating. Brother Du, what are your thoughts on this beast? Nangongtan turned his gaze toward the man in yellow robes. The man in yellow was named Du Zidong, the elder of the Yun Chuan Du clan, with a cultivation at the 6th level of the Hotian realm, rivaling even the renowned Nangongtan. I wonder if you're familiar with the Yun Chuan mountain range, with its 100,000 majestic peaks, a place so vast and expansive that even grandmasters of martial arts cannot guarantee their safe return. If one were to recklessly venture deep into this perilous land, encountering ferocious beasts would be inevitable. The power of these beasts, even if not quite at the Xiantian realm, is certainly not far behind. Have you devised a plan yet? Just then, another man spoke, breaking the silence. His name was Shangguan Feihong, a highly respected elder of the Shangguan family, one of the leading martial arts families in Yunchuan, with a cultivation level of Hotian Stage 6. The 3 men exchanged glances, hesitation etched on their faces. The true strength of the beasts remained unknown, and acting rashly would be incredibly risky. One wrong move could cost them their lives. But at this critical juncture, A horrific scream pierced the air. The monstrous beast had devoured more than 10 martial artists whole, leaving not even a bone behind. The creature consumed them like pastries, without a hint of hesitation. Hundreds of years. I've been imprisoned in darkness for hundreds of years. Finally, a chance to feast to my heart's content. Once I devour all these humans, drain their life essence, I will return to my peak, become a golden core realm demonic beast, even ascend to the supreme nascent soul realm. Then, transforming into human form will no longer be a mere pipe dream. Old man, you imprisoned me for centuries, but you never dreamed Hei Huang would be reborn, turning the tables. The monstrous beast let out an earth-shattering roar, charging towards a lone cultivator standing nearby. You vile creature, you dare court death. The lone cultivator roared, the imposing aura of a 6th-level post-heaven expert erupting from it. He unleashed a powerful punch, carrying terrifying force, aimed directly at the beast. But the beast simply extended a claw, ripping the cultivator to shreds and swallowing him in an instant. Witnessing this horrific scene, everyone was petrified, their faces drained of color. A postnatal 6th-stage expert was just deprived of his life in a blink of an eye. This monstrous beast definitely possesses the terrifying power of the Xiantian realm. Nangong Tan, Du Zidong, and Shangwan Feihong all gulped with difficulty, a chilling sensation crawling down their spines. The three of them frantically searched for an escape plan, but every path seemed to lead to certain death. Yet, they didn't even dare to turn and flee, because their very presence was completely locked down by the beast's aura. If they dared to make a run for it, death would surely be instantaneous. Just at that critical moment, the beast seemed satiated after its human feast, a look of contentment spreading across its face. Witnessing this scene, a glimmer of hope sparked in the minds of the three. This beast must have a limit to how much it can consume. If we can feed it until it can't swallow anymore, perhaps we can escape this calamity. Nangong Tan voiced a suggestion. This plan seems feasible. Du Zidong and Shangwan Feihong nodded in agreement. After witnessing the rogue cultivator being killed in an instant, all three had completely abandoned any thoughts of resistance, willingly offering themselves as a feast for the monstrous beast. Seemed like the only way to survive. The other martial artists overheard their conversation, their faces paling as a sense of foreboding washed over them. In that moment, Nangong Tan made the first move, seizing a peak Earth Realm martial artist and throwing him straight at the beast. The Earth Realm artist's scream pierced the air as the beast tore into him, devouring him whole. The beast exhaled a putrid stench, a cunning glint flashing in its blood-red eyes. Did these fools really think that would satisfy me? But this works too. Saves me the trouble of pretending to be hungry. It let out a fake groan and laid down as if waiting to be fed. Seeing this, the three rejoiced. Their plan had worked. As long as they fed it, it would obey. With that thought, the three didn't hesitate, immediately grabbing the martial artists watching nearby and tossing them into the beast's gaping maw. In the blink of an eye, the beast had swallowed over 40 people. Most of the other martial artists have been devoured by those monsters. Only our subordinates remain. Are we really going to sacrifice them too? These aren't just ordinary subordinates. They've at least reached the Earth Realm. They're the core strength of our families. We absolutely cannot sacrifice them. Just then, Nangongtan glanced towards two figures not far away, a man and a woman. Neither of them had high cultivation levels. The man was only at the mid-stage Earth Realm, while the woman was merely at the peak of the profound realm, incredibly weak. Nangongtan, what are you looking at me for? Chen Xianhao's expression changed drastically. He quickly pulled his younger sister behind him, his entire body radiating vigilance. Chen Yixue clutched her brother's robes tightly, fear bringing her to the verge of tears. She had heard rumors about the Immortal's tomb, and had secretly dragged her brother here in the dead of night. Never did she expect to encounter such a life-or-death situation. Brother Nangong, these two are from the Chun family. We cannot touch them, Du Zidong said, frowning. Hearing this, Nangong Tam let out a cold snort. We're just watching. With Chun Beixian still alive, how dare we touch anyone from the Chun family? Du Zidong glanced at Lin Xiaohong, who was standing beside Nangong Tan. This woman doesn't seem to be from the Nangong family. Who said that? I am Tanji's woman. Lin Xiaohong's face paled, and she trembled as she clutched Nangong Tan's robes. Nangong Tan hesitated for a moment, then suddenly struck several pressure points on Lin Xiaohong's body, and threw her towards the roaring beast. Nangong Tan, you bastard! You'll die a horrible death. Lin Xiaohong screamed in despair before being swallowed whole by the beast. But the beast seemed unsatisfied and continued to stare at the remaining people. But you were all wrong from the start. This beast can never be full. Don't you realize? Its belly hasn't grown even a little after devouring so many people. Ow, at this, Zhen Yishui finally couldn't hold back anymore and spoke up. Hearing this, Nangong Tan, Du Zidong, and Shangwan Feihong suddenly had a gleam in their eyes. Deep down, they had long sensed something was amiss, but they didn't dare face the harsh truth. In other words, besides feeding the monstrous beast, they had no other options. Zhen Yishui's words seemed to enrage the beast, causing it to open its gaping maw like a bloody basin and charge straight towards her. Danger! Chun Sanhao swiftly pulled his sister behind him, shielding her with his own body. Brother! Chun Yishui screamed in agony, tears streaming down her face. In this moment, she was filled with regret, if it weren't for her playful impulse. Secretly dragging her brother here in the dead of night, they wouldn't be in this life-threatening situation. The monstrous beast's enormous mouth was about to devour Chun Sanhao, but in that critical moment, the beast suddenly froze, as if paralyzed. Bam! The beast was sent flying, crashing to the ground. This unexpected turn of events left everyone stunned and astonished. I understand now. It must be. Those two Chan children have protective talismans on them. At that critical moment, the talismans activated automatically, repelling the monstrous beast. Nangong Tan murmured. Hearing this, Shangwan Feihong and Du Zidong suddenly understood everything. Brother, what happened? Did you secretly take grandfather's talisman? Chen Yishui had the same thought and asked her brother in a low voice. Grandfather's talisman? How could I dare take that? If he found out, he'd kill me. Chun Sanhao quickly shook his head. I'm certain that some expert attacked the beast just now. But who was it? At that very moment, Lin Fan slowly walked forward. The attack just now was launched by him from afar. Initially, he had no intention of saving anyone. However, Chun Sanhao's valiant and heroic act of saving the damsel filled him with immense admiration and approval. That's why he readily extended a helping hand to the siblings, a man deeply devoted to his younger sister. He couldn't stand idly by and watch a fragile creature like his sister be bullied. Seeing Lin Fan approach, everyone furrowed their brows in confusion. Who is this young man? He strolled casually, his carefree demeanor as if he were taking a leisurely walk. Lin Fan paid no mind to the scrutinizing gazes around him and walked straight towards the deep abyss. Looking down at the monstrous creature lying at the bottom of the abyss, he couldn't help but gasp in astonishment. A black cloud leopard, the black cloud leopard, carrying the bloodline of an ancient fierce beast, was an incredibly ferocious and powerful demonic beast. A fully grown black cloud leopard could reach the golden core realm, and some exceptional individuals even reached the nascent soul realm, capable of soaring through the sky, shape-shifting into human form, and freely roaming the mortal world. Yet, the black cloud leopard before him was clearly fully grown. So why was its cultivation only at the foundation establishment realm? This completely contradicted the records in ancient texts. Lin Fan was utterly perplexed. The black cloud leopard in the abyss was severely wounded because Lin Fan didn't conceal his overwhelming spiritual energy. With just a glance, the black cloud leopard recognized his profound cultivation level. This terrified it to the core. How could this be possible? How could a nascent soul cultivator exist in this mortal realm? Even 100 years ago, this realm was incredibly rare. Could it be that I, He Huang, have just awakened only to meet my demise? Lin Fan reached down into the abyss and grabbed the black cloud leopard. The terrified black cloud leopard let out a soft meow like a kitten. It desperately tried to win Lin Fan's favor. Quite clever, aren't you? But your body is too massive. I wonder how much food you devour each day. I can't afford to feed you. Meow. The black cloud leopard instantly shrunk, its body hundreds of times, becoming as small as a kitten, rubbing its head against Lin Fan's hand affectionately. I was just kidding. Your core is quite alluring. How could I possibly let it go? With those words, Lin Fan crippled the black cloud leopard's cultivation and extracted a sparkling core, emitting a brilliant radiance from within the beast's chest. A core the size of a chicken egg, contained within it an incredibly rich source of spiritual energy. Just a whiff was enough to make one feel incredibly refreshed and invigorated. As expected, it was the core of a golden core realm demon beast. This precious core was definitely worth more than 10 high-grade spirit stones combined. This time, it was a huge score. Lin Fan rejoiced inwardly. But at this very moment, Nangong Tan arrived with a group of subordinates. He let out a mocking sneer. "Well done, you've got guts. You dare to trifle with a Xiantian realm beast? Quickly, hand over the core." "Give me one reason," Lin Fan retorted calmly, his tone laced with sarcasm. "Ridiculous. If we hadn't risked our lives to injure the beast, how could you have easily obtained the core?" Nangong Tan laughed loudly, but his laughter abruptly ceased as a crack echoed the sound of breaking bone. The smile on Nangong Tan's face froze. He clutched his neck, his expression contorted in pain. He forced his eyes open, glaring at Lin Fan with a look of pure rage. A mix of confusion, bewilderment, and incomprehension washing over him before he collapsed, lifeless. The boisterous clamor of the battlefield fell deathly silent. Du Ziding and Shangwan Feihong stared at Nangong Tan's cold corpse. Both were speechless. Nangong Tan, a formidable Hotian six-stage expert, had been crushed as easily as an ant by this kid. It was unbelievable. This big brother is truly formidable. Chen Yixue gasped, covering her mouth in awe. A sharp glint flashed in Chen Sanhao's eyes. Could it be that this person defeated the ferocious beast earlier? This young brother, I have been disrespectful. I am Du Zidong, from the Du family of Yunchuan. My apologies. Du Ziding Gaufret da Gentrismai. His words sounded sincere, yet carried an underlying implication. He had deliberately revealed his background, implicitly warning Lin Fan, "I'm not someone you can afford to offend." He believed Lin Fan was intelligent enough to grasp the hidden meaning. Lin Fan raised an eyebrow, and without a word, kicked Du Ziding squarely in the stomach. Oof, my stomach. Du Ziding was caught completely off guard and sent flying with a swift kick, his body crashing heavily to the ground. He clutched his stomach, his internal organs feeling as if they'd been rearranged, the pain excruciating. Witnessing this scene, everyone was horrified, their hair standing on end. This young punk was incredibly audacious. This was Yun Chuan, yet he dared to lay a hand on Elder Du of the Du family. Did he have no respect for authority? Did he not know the immensity of heaven and earth? Young Master Lin truly lived up to his reputation, acting with such domineering arrogance, whether in Jinling or Yun Chuan. Even Wang Yuexian had to express his admiration. Shangwan Feihong, witnessing this, was utterly shaken. He hurriedly stepped forward to introduce himself. "This young brother, I am Zhe." Before he could finish, Lin Fan backhanded Shangwan Feihong, sending him flying. "Each of you, prepare 100 spirit explosive rounds for me. Consider today's matter settled." Du Ziding and Shangwan Feihong's faces drastically changed. One spirit explosive round was worth over 1 billion. 100 rounds were over 100 billion. Gathering 100 rounds in such a short time would be extremely difficult. Even 300 billion taels of gold might not be enough to buy. Isn't what you're doing a bit excessive? Our elder only made a few sarcastic remarks to you, yet you resorted to such ruthless methods and even brazenly extorted money. A Du clan martial artist spoke up indignantly, defending the elder. Boom! Lin Fan merely flicked his wrist, and the martial artist exploded, his body turning into smoke and gore splattering everywhere. Anyone else think I'm being unreasonable? As soon as he finished speaking, everyone fell silent, not daring to utter a word. This brat is truly ruthless. Lin Fan let out a cold laugh. "I'll give you 3 days. In 3 days, I will personally come and pay you a visit. When the time comes, if you aren't properly prepared, don't blame me for being impolite." Hearing this, Du Ziding and Shangwan Feihong secretly sneered in their hearts. This arrogant punk actually dared to come and challenge them on their own turf. When the time comes, you can forget about leaving here alive. Although that's what they thought. On the surface, they still acted respectfully, replying in unison, "Yes, sir. In the next 3 days, we will definitely have the Lingbao cannon prepared and respectfully await your grand arrival." Just then, Chen Yixue, holding her phone, timidly approached Lin Fan, her eyes filled with adoration. The more she looked, the more infatuated she became. In her eyes, this police officer was handsome and strong, completely her type. Actually, her preference for strong men stemmed from her older sister's influence. Her sister, Chen Ina, had endured 15 years of suffering because of a weak and irresponsible man. She feared ending up in the same tragic situation as her sister, so she vowed to only seek out strong and capable men. And Lin Fan, in her eyes, was the ideal man she had always dreamed of. "Officer, I really admire you. Can I have your QQ number?" Chun Ishue boldly confessed her feelings. "Wait until you've grown up a bit more. Then learn how to properly express your affections." Lin Fan shook his head slightly, then with a leap, he vanished into the darkness, a fleeting shadow in the night. Ever since news of the immortal's tomb spread, the Zheng family had been surrounded by forces from all corners of the Jianghu. Even in the stillness of the night, countless martial artists lay hidden outside the Zheng residence, keenly observing every movement of anyone entering or exiting, afraid to miss even the slightest clue. In fact, many martial arts experts had already visited the Zheng family to inquire about the news. But Zheng Sanshui remained tight-lipped, not uttering a single word. Even a few post-heaven 8th stage experts had attempted to force Zheng Sanshui to reveal the secret through force. But at the critical moment, an unparalleled expert suddenly appeared, easily defeating those aggressors with a single move. Inside the main hall of the Zheng residence, a group of people surrounded Yi Tianxin with expressions of utmost respect. "I haven't seen you in just a few days. But Senior Yi has become so powerful," one person exclaimed in admiration, defeating 3 post-heaven 8th-stage experts with one move. Could it be that Senior Yi has already reached the innate realm? Hearing this, Yi Tianxin just smiled faintly, not responding, but a feeling of exhilaration filled his heart. This was the exquisite feeling of standing at the pinnacle, the feeling of power. But just then, with a loud boom, the first-floor gate was kicked open. An old man walked in, his aura profound and unfathomable, radiating a terrifying pressure. Miraculously, the old man was able to glide through the air, suspended in midair for a short period. The surrounding martial artists began to murmur and chatter amongst themselves. "I can't believe Elder Sun came here personally. The Zheng family is doomed this time." Among the 3 post-celestial 8th-stage experts killed just now, one of them was Elder Sun's disciple. Elder Sun is definitely here to avenge his disciple. Elder Sun is a true innate realm expert, even if it's only the first stage of the innate realm. He's not an opponent that those in the post-celestial realm can compare to. Hearing this, the faces of the Zheng family members turned pale. Even Zheng Sanshui furrowed his brows in worry. "This old man is an innate realm expert. Who killed my son? Step forward." Elder Sun roared furiously, making no attempt to hide his overwhelming killing intent. A terrifying wave of killing intent, the overwhelming pressure of the Xiantian realm, instantly enveloped the entire hall, freezing the air. "Oomph, you truly overestimate yourself." Yi Tianxin sneered, raising his right hand and lightly patting towards Elder Sun. The character Shriek, carved into his palm, suddenly radiated a brilliant light, unleashing a world-shaking surge of energy. Boom! Elder Sun screamed. The Xiantian first-stage expert didn't even have time to react before he exploded, his body shattering into a shower of blood and gore. Witnessing this horrific scene, everyone was stunned into silence, a numbing sensation spreading throughout their bodies. One palm strike killed a Xiantian first-stage expert. Wasn't this something only immortals could do? Yi Tianxin tried to maintain a calm expression, but excitement surged within him. As expected of the talisman bestowed by young Master Lin, its power is truly terrifying. Unfortunately, it can only be used 3 times. I've already used it twice. I must save the last one for revenge. Yi Tianxin glanced around. "You're just a lowly ant. With your meager Xiantian realm cultivation, how dare you act so arrogant before me? Does anyone else dare to defy me?" Hearing this, the expressions of the martial artists changed, and they all retreated several steps. But at this crucial moment, 6 middle-aged men in green robes walked in. They clapped as they walked, with cryptic smiles on their lips. Witnessing this scene, the pupils of the martial artists constricted, and they exclaimed, "Li Yu." Li Yu is also a first-level Xiantian expert, possessing strength on par with Elder Sun. Another old man appeared, a cunning expression on his face. "Excellent, excellent. I almost fell for your deception, old man." Seeing this old man, everyone gasped. He was Yin Wuming. This old man was also a notorious and ruthless figure in the Xiantian realm. If I'm not mistaken, The source of your power is that character in your palm. It's a type of rune, isn't it? This rune was given to you by Zhang Sanshui. Zhang Sanshui, he really did break into the immortal's tomb. Otherwise, how could he possess such a magnificent treasure? Yin Lao Guai stared intently, his eyes burning with avarice. He and Li Yu had been lurking in the shadows for a long time, secretly observing Yi Tianxin's every move. Even Yi Tianxin's every technique, every punch and kick proved that he was not a true martial arts grandmaster. The fact that Yi Tianxin could kill Sun Lao relied entirely on the power of the ancient character engraved on his palm. Moreover, they also noticed that after killing Sun Lao, the power of that character had significantly weakened. In other words, this mystical rune couldn't be used indefinitely, but definitely had a limit on the number of uses. Yin Lao Guai sneered, glancing at a post-celestial realm martial artist standing beside him. What's your name? Senior. My name is Zhang San. Zhang San, go up there and kill him for me. Zhang San's face paled. He understood clearly that Yin Lao Guai intended to use him as a guinea pig. If you don't go, I'll kill you. Yin Lao Guai threatened coldly. Hearing that, Zhang San gritted his teeth, seeing no way out. He lunged forward, landing a direct punch to Yi Tianxin's chest. Yi Tianxin's face paled drastically. Caught off guard, he was sent flying by the powerful blow, crashing against the wall. The entire hall erupted in astonishment. So he was just faking unconsciousness. He used a talisman to scare us. Ha, you incompetent fool. How dare you show off in Yin Chuanyang? Zhang San roared with laughter, charging forward with a kick aimed at finishing off Yi Tianxin. But in that critical moment, Zhang Sanshui suddenly appeared, intercepting Zhang San's deadly attack. Li Yu, who had remained silent until now, suddenly chuckled and said, Patriarch Zhang, do you intend to protect him? Elderly, Brother Yi is a friend of mine. Please give me some face and spare him. Zhang Sanshui forced a smile. Elderly, Brother Yi is a friend of mine. I ask that you give me face and let him go. Zhang Sanshui gave a bitter laugh. What makes you think you have the right to ask me for anything? Li Yu let out a scornful laugh. Hearing this, Zhang Sanshui's face immediately changed. He hadn't expected Li Yu to show him so little respect. Even Yi Tianxin didn't know how to react. Was she really going to have to use her last resort? But with so many people present, how could she possibly kill them all? He began to regret his impulsive actions. If only he had been more discreet. Perhaps he wouldn't be in this predicament. Just then, a calm voice suddenly echoed from outside. It's the dead of night. Why aren't you all asleep? What's going on here? Everyone's expression changed. They looked towards the voice and saw a young man walking in. Everyone was stunned. Who was this kid? He didn't possess even a trace of martial aura, yet he dared to lecture them. Yin Lao Guai glanced at Lin Fan and then immediately looked away. Just a mere brat. Not worth my time. Li Yu turned his gaze back to Lin Fan, a look of amusement dancing in his eyes. To speak so boldly with death looming so close. Either this man was a fool, or he possessed an extraordinary background. Only Yi Tianxin was so moved that tears welled up in his eyes. Young Master Lin. Every time the old man found himself at the end of the road, utterly hopeless, young Master Lin would appear like a glimmer of hope, illuminating the path forward. Lin Fan walked up to Yi Tianxin and asked softly, Old Yi, what happened to you? Why is it that every time I see you, you're beaten black and blue? Yi Tianxin was about to explain, but Zhang San quickly interrupted. Well. Look who we have here, the old man's accomplice. Zhang San looked at Lin Fan with mockery and disdain. Kid, don't interfere, or you'll regret it. Lin Fan nodded slightly, then suddenly spat directly in Zhang San's face. Boom! Zhang San exploded, his body disintegrating into a cloud of smoke and gore. The boisterous laughter in the hall abruptly ceased, replaced by a terrifying silence. Everyone rubbed their eyes in disbelief, as if they were seeing things. Could a single spit of saliva really kill a martial artist to the postnatal realm? Did his mouth conceal a hidden bomb or something? The 6 experts of the Li realm all wore knowing smiles. That guy didn't exude any martial aura. He must be some kind of unorthodox expert. After hearing Yi Tianxin recount the entire incident, Lin Fan scoffed. Yi Tianxin, you truly are a sly old fox. I told you to go seek revenge, but you came here to put on a show? Just then, old monster Een stepped forward, his gaze fixed coldly on Lin Fan. This old man is Een Wuming. Who are you? And that saliva attack just now, what kind of technique was that? This old man has never heard of such a thing. By the way, your name doesn't sound very lucky. I suggest you change it. Lin Fan teased provocatively. Hearing this, old monster Yin's eyes grew even colder. Yin Wuming, an exceptional genius, had entered the Earth realm at the age of 16, and by 37, he was already a first-level postnatal expert. At the age of 48, he broke through to the Xiantian realm, shaking the entire Yun Chuan martial world. San Wu Ming. This name doesn't imply a short life, but invincibility. Do you understand? Hearing this, the surrounding martial artists nodded in agreement. Indeed, Yin Lao Guai's life was incredibly brilliant and glorious, reaching the Xiantian realm at 48. In the entire Yin Chuan martial world, few could achieve such a feat. Just then, Lin Fan coughed softly a few times, as if preparing to spit. Not good. Yin Wu Ming's expression changed drastically, and he hurriedly retreated more than 10 meters, his eyes fixed warily on Lin Fan. No, I was just going to spit. Why are you so scared? It doesn't suit your invincible demeanor at all. You dare to mock me? Yin Wu Ming was furious. Unexpectedly, Lin Fan used a provocation tactic, humiliating him in front of so many people. Let's see if your spit is more powerful, or my Wu Ming divine art. My technique is unmatched, Yin Wu Ming declared coldly. He unleashed hundreds of punches in the blink of an eye, determined to finish off Lin Fan. Yet, Lin Fan remained motionless, like a statue. Only when the surging waves of energy drew near did he casually spit. The earth-shattering energy wave instantly vanished like bubbles before his spit. After dissipating the energy wave, the glob of spit continued its trajectory with undiminished speed, striking Yin Wu Ming squarely in the chest. Yin Wu Ming was completely caught off guard, only able to look down at the gaping hole in his chest. He died with eyes wide open, departing in utter disbelief. Before his last breath, his mind was filled with utter confusion and bewilderment. When the world just happened, witnessing the horrifying scene, everyone was utterly terrified. Every hair on their bodies stood on end in fear. It was truly horrifying. Even Li Yu's face paled, looking at Lin Fan with utter disbelief. Lin Fan glanced around, coldly declaring, according to the old rules, you have 3 minutes to get out of the Zeng residence. In 3 minutes, anyone who remains here will face my wrath. In the blink of an eye, the once crowded Zeng residence became eerily deserted. After the crowd dispersed, Zeng Sanshui gradually regained his composure. He approached Lin Fan, cupped his hands respectfully, and said, "Thank you, young Master Lin, for your heroic intervention, saving our Zeng family from this disaster. There's no need for formalities. I came here with a question for you. Where did you hear about the Immortal's Tomb?" Zeng Sanshui respectfully invited Lin Fan to take a seat and ordered someone to serve the finest Yun Chuan Pu'er tea. He took a deep breath and slowly recounted the entire story. After listening, Lin Fan grasped the general situation. About half a month ago, on a quiet and desolate night, a mysterious person came to him and revealed the existence of the Immortal's Tomb, instructing him to spread the news. Zeng Sanshui knew this was a matter of great importance. If not handled carefully, the entire Zeng family could be annihilated. Therefore, he refused. But the mysterious person chuckled, saying that if he just leaked the information, he would help Zeng Sanshui break through to the Tianjing realm. That mysterious figure merely placed a hand on Zeng Sanshui's head for 10 seconds, and he entered the Hotian realm. Do you remember what that mysterious person looked like? Fan narrowed his eyes. Could it be that old man? It's not clear. At the time, he was hidden in pitch-black darkness. I only saw that he was a man, and his legs seemed to be injured. You're saying he was lame? Lin Fan frowned. My sister mentioned that. The person who brought the urn also had a leg injury. Could it be the same person? If that's true, then Master is definitely involved in our parents' disappearance. How can there be so many coincidences? As soon as Zeng Sanshui finished speaking, he pulled out a jet-black token from inside his robes. He instructed me to spread this information far and wide, and then handed me this mysterious token. He claimed it was the key to unlocking the tomb of an immortal. Lin Fan accepted the token, examining it carefully. It was indeed identical to the token his master had left him. Zeng Sanshui explained that there were 3 such tokens in total, and that once the news was spread, the other 2 token holders would seek me out. Then, the 3 of us could combine our powers to open the Immortal's tomb and obtain the Immortal's unparalleled inheritance. But half a month has passed, and not a single soul has appeared. I have the second token. Lin Fan took out his own token his heart filled with doubt. Within that restriction, what secrets were hidden that made things so complicated? What was old man Zhang Sanshui's true motive? Young Master Lin, please accept this command token. It's of no use to me keeping it. Zhang Sanshui hastily refused. There's no need. Lin Fan stood up. Now we have 2 command tokens. The third one should appear soon. When it does, let me know. We'll excavate the ancient tomb together. Lin Fan pondered for a moment, then drew a talisman on Zhang Sanshui's hand. Remember, this talisman can only be used 3 times, only to scare people. Don't use it recklessly like Yi Tian. Thank you, young Master Lin. Zhang Sanshui replied respectfully. The Yinchuan martial arts world was sure to have a sleepless night. News of a mysterious young man appearing at the Zhang family residence quickly spread throughout Yinchuan. Martial artists gossiped and speculated, wondering which sex techniques the young man had used. What kind of power did he possess? But amidst the swirling rumors and gossip, the person at the center of all the attention, Lin Fan, had quietly returned to Jinling. Wang Yuxian also rushed back from Yinchuan on his private jet. The moment he arrived in Jinling, he immediately went straight to Yin Zhongtian's residence. There, he recounted everything that had happened in the Hengduan Mountains. You're saying Lin Fan eliminated the monstrous beast with a single move at the Xiantian realm? Yin Zhongtian narrowed his eyes, his expression grave. Moreover, Lin Fan is incredibly arrogant. He dared to threaten to slaughter all the families in Jinling. I absolutely cannot tolerate such audacious behavior. Therefore, I've requested assistance from higher authorities. They've agreed and will send experts tomorrow to help me punish Lin Fan. Lin Fan. Hearing this, Wang Yueshuan's face paled, utterly terrified. No, we absolutely cannot offend young Master Lin, Elder Yin. You must quickly report to the higher-ups. Tell them to cancel sending anyone. Yin Zhongtian shook his head and sighed. It's too late. The higher-ups sent people here, firstly because of Lin Fan. Secondly, because of the incident involving Wen. Number 9, a notorious assassin on the dark web, has appeared in Jinling. This is an extremely serious matter. Moreover, we found the mastermind behind Lin Fan's attempted assassination. It's Chung Feng, the leader of the Fengyun gang. He put a bounty of tens of billions of dollars on the dark web. Coincidentally, when accepted the mission, Lin Fan killed his disciple and son at the Baiyin Chamber of Commerce auction. He naturally wants revenge. The next morning, Lin Fan was awakened by a persistent knocking at the door. He opened the door to find Chen Yinhua and Chen Qianhao standing outside. The 3 of them entered the room and settled down on the sofa. Chen Qianhao spoke to Lin Fan with a serious expression. I spoke with my sister last night. The misunderstanding has been cleared up. I came here to discuss something with you. I plan to take my sister and niece back to Yinchuan after we return to the Chun family and settle everything. You should come there. If all goes well, you and my sister will have your wedding soon. After all, Nian Yin has grown up. If all goes well, what do you mean? Lin Fan furrowed his brows in confusion. Chen Jinhao sighed. If you want to marry my sister, you need to get my parents' approval. To be honest, my parents don't have a favorable impression of you. Moreover, my younger brother and sister also dislike you very much. Hearing this, Lin Fan fell silent for a moment, then turned to look at Chen Yinhua. What do you think? I know my parents did wrong, but everything they did was for my own good. If it weren't for me, your parents wouldn't have disappeared. I know this has nothing to do with you. Lin Fan shook his head slightly, recalling the events of last night. He was certain that his parents' mysterious disappearance was deeply connected to his master. Therefore, with or without the Chun family, fate had already been decided, and this outcome was inevitable. Hearing these words, Chen Yinhua felt a stinging sensation in her nose. She threw herself into Lin Fan's arms, sobbing uncontrollably. Witnessing the scene before him, Chen Qianhao quietly left the room, while Zhu Dao gently closed the door behind him. Lin Fan, I used to hate you so much. I always wondered, what if we had never met? Wouldn't things have been better? Back then, I was just a young mistress of the Chun family, living a carefree life without a worry in the world. But now, I truly understand that. Meeting you is the luckiest thing that ever happened to me. You taught me the true meaning of love. Looking at the woman he loved nestled in his arms, Lin Fan felt deeply moved. A woman willing to give up her powerful family, bear his child, and endure 15 long years in silence, without a care for riches or glory, just to wait for his return. Meeting you, even if it meant enduring countless hardships, I would gladly do it again, because you are the greatest happiness of my life. No, I won't let you talk like that. Don't be so pessimistic. Our future will be filled with happiness. We'll have lots of little angels, lots of little Lin fans. Chun Inua said softly. Lin Fan suddenly drew the curtains close. Lin Fan, what were you doing? Seeing this, Chun Inua's face flushed crimson. She nervously clutched the sofa. I don't know what to do. Didn't you just say you want to have a lot of little Lin fans? Lin Fan flashed a mischievous smile. We can't do that. Chun Inua said shyly, her head bowed. Although they had been together for 7 years, they had only truly been intimate twice. Lin Fan gently lifted Chun Inua into his arms. 9,999 words omitted. Chun Inua nestled comfortably in Lin Fan's warm embrace. How about we take Nyen Nyen to the zoo later? She really wants to see the tigers, but her illness keeps relapsing, so I haven't dared to take her. Lin Fan nodded slightly, an overwhelming guilt washing over him. He owed his daughter so much. An hour later, Lin Fan took Chun Inua and Nyen Nyen to the Hongshan Zoo. The trip was supposed to be for 5 people, but Chun Ganhao had something urgent come up and couldn't make it, and his younger sister, Xiao Dao, had to go back to school. After all, she was still a freshman and couldn't skip classes too often. After buying their tickets, the 3 of them entered the tiger enclosure. Nyen Nyen pressed her small face against the clear glass, intently watching 2 northeast tigers slowly pacing back and forth. Her big, round eyes sparkled with wonder and delight. For some reason, Nyen Nyen had always had a special fondness for tigers. Before, every time I took her to the hospital, Chun Inua said she would scream in fear whenever she got a shot. So, I bought her some tiger plushies and tiger wall stickers, and she stopped crying immediately. Chun Inua glanced at Lin Fan as she spoke. She asked curiously, "Isn't it strange? Such a small girl loves such a fierce predator like a tiger. This is rather peculiar." Lin Fan pondered deeply. Could the little girl's constitution be somehow connected to beasts? Ancient texts record that since ancient times, a special physique has existed, known as the Beast Tamer Constitution. Those possessing this unique constitution are born with the ability to understand the language of all beasts, forming a natural bond and harmony with them. Even the most ferocious beasts show them a special kind of affection. Just as Lin Fan was lost in thought, a young man approached. He observed the 2 Siberian tigers through the thick glass, listening to the praises of the surrounding crowd, then let out a scoff. Siberian tigers? They don't look like anything special. Just one punch from me would be enough to take them down. Those who admired the tigers expressed their displeasure and annoyance. But seeing the young man's tall, muscular build, they fell silent, not daring to object. "Uncle, you're so fat. Just one fall would probably be enough to feed those 2 Siberian tigers for days." Nyen Nyen tilted her small face upward, looking at the young man with curiosity as she asked. The young man looked down, realizing he was talking to a little girl, a flicker of annoyance rising within him. "Little kid, I don't have time to argue with you. Go get your grown-up. I want an adult to take responsibility for your rudeness." "Daddy, someone's looking for you." Nyen Nyen turned her head, looking at Lin Fan with hopeful eyes. Lin Fan's eyes welled up, recognizing the young man before him as a peak Earth Realm martial artist. A peak Earth Realm expert could easily take down the Northeast Tiger with a single move. But his daughter was looking at him with such expectation. He was a father. How could he let her down? The young man sized Lin Fan up, feeling a sense of familiarity with his face. "Hey, your daughter just offended me. You saw it too. Shouldn't children apologize for their mistakes? This is how I teach my children. If you're not convinced, feel free to make a move. Don't just offer empty apologies. My way of apologizing is rather unique. I'm afraid your frail body wouldn't be able to handle it." Lin Fan offered a kind warning. Hearing this, the young man burst into laughter. "Preposterous. I'm a dignified peak Earth Realm expert, a future law enforcement officer of the Great Xia, and yet I'm being threatened by a mere mortal." His name was Yi Shun. His father, Yi Tianlong, was a rank 2 law enforcement officer of the Great Xia, a master of the 4th level of Xiantian realm. This time, Yi Tianlong was dispatched to Jinling to solve a case related to Wen, a notorious international assassin. In order to train Yi Shun, Yi Tianlong brought him along. Today, Yi Shun came to the Hongshan Zoo not for sightseeing, but because according to intelligence, the Hongshan Zoo He worried this place could become the target of a terrorist attack. So he came here personally to patrol, guarding against any potential incidents. Die Shen seid Zuftli, preparing to teach this arrogant, disrespectful bratadolescent. But just then, terrified screams echoed from the distance. For beautiful girls, covered in blood, were desperately running towards him. Right behind them were 9 ferocious North American gray wolves. The strange thing was, these 9 wild wolves weren't attacking the panicked tourists around them, but were solely focused on chasing the 4 girls. One of them was severely injured, seemingly on the verge of death. Witnessing this horrifying scene, the tourists in the tiger enclosure went pale with fright. What's happening? Why are so many wolves running loose? Everyone exclaimed in terror. Daishin narrowed his eyes. As far as he knew, Hongshan Zoo always had strict animal management protocols. Yet, 9 North American gray wolves had escaped. This was truly unusual. Could this be connected to some international assassination organization? With that thought, he shot off like lightning. Just then, Nian Yin suddenly spoke. Daddy, I feel sorry for those wolves. They look like they're in so much pain, like someone's controlling them. Hearing this, a sharp glint flashed in Lin Fan's eyes. Could his daughter actually possess the beast-taming physique? Her special physique hadn't fully awakened yet, but could she already sense the pain of wild beasts? Help me! Wang Yuxing choked out a weak cry for help through the pain. Demon, you're courting death. Dai Shun roared furiously, his powerful aura like a reborn god of war. He threw a punch, sending a gray wolf flying. In the blink of an eye, all 9 gray wolves howled miserably, sent flying more than 10 meters away. They crashed to the ground, motionless. But just then, terrified screams erupted from the surrounding crowd. The wolf pack is not dead yet. Hearing this, Yi Chun immediately turned his head, witnessing the sight of 9 gray wolves standing upright, their eyes bloodshot and ferocious, their breaths heavy and ragged. Something was definitely amiss. Just moments ago, he had clearly crushed the internal organs of all 9 wolves. No living creature could survive such an attack. In other words, these 9 beasts should be dead. But they had been resurrected by some mysterious force using a secret technique. The 9 wolves let out a terrifying roar in unison and charged straight towards Yichun. Yichen's expression changed. He could no longer maintain his composure. If you don't want to die, run for your lives, he yelled, simultaneously rushing forward to engage the ferocious wolves. 8 Extremities Fist. Yichun roared, his body leaping into the air. He unleashed a powerful punch towards one of the wolves. His fist landed squarely on the beast's flank. The wolf yelped miserably, its body sent flying more than 10 meters. It crashed heavily into the granite cliff face, creating a deep crater. Fu Daishan gasped for breath, his soul trembling. This time, that wolf was going to die. If he could just eliminate one, he could figure out how to deal with the remaining 8. But just then, the wolf that had been slammed into the cliff suddenly sprang back up, the killing intent in its eyes intensifying. Yishan froze, as if struck by lightning. He had never felt such despair. Even his strongest technique couldn't take down a single wild wolf. Just then, another wolf suddenly attacked from behind, landing a critical blow to Yishan's side. Yishan couldn't react in time and was sent flying, landing in a pathetic heap. The 9 wolves slowly closed in, surrounding the 2. Suddenly, a tall figure came rushing from afar, boldly standing in front of Yishun and Fu Daishan. It was Lin Fan. Yishun was both shocked and terrified to recognize the newcomer. Shocked by Lin Fan's incredible speed. Terrified because he couldn't understand why Lin Fan was here at this moment. Am I really going to die here? No way. Consider yourself lucky today. My daughter wants to see your frog-catching performance, so I'll spare your life. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Fan reached out and grabbed a wolf's head. With just a slight exertion of force, cracked. The head, said to be the hardest part of a wolf's body, was shattered. Yi Shun, looking at the headless wolf corpse, was dumbfounded, completely losing his composure. A ferocious wolf that almost took his life was crushed to death by this man, as easily as a chick. You, sir, are... Yi Shun gaped, about to say something, when the remaining 8 wolves, witnessing their comrade's death, let out furious roars and charged towards Lin Fan. Boom, boom, boom. The 8 wolves simultaneously exploded, turning into a bloody mess, not a single bone remaining. Witnessing this horrifying scene, Yi Shun was stunned, utterly horrified. Too strong, absurdly strong. Lin Fan didn't reply, his sharp gaze fixed on a dark corner. Come out. What are you still hiding for? Are there any other accomplices? Yishun's face changed, following Lin Fan's gaze. From behind a decorative, artificial rock, a short man, barely 1.4 meters tall, slowly emerged. This dwarf had a large head, small legs, and held a jade flute in his hand. His bulging eyes stared at everyone around him, exuding a terrifying ferocity. Upon seeing this person, Yishun exclaimed in terror, "My pupils are shrinking. It's Guaying, the dwarf king." Guaying stopped about 10 meters away. Staring at Lin Fan, his shrill voice rang out. "I never expected such a master like you in Jinling. How did you discover me? You're too twisted. You're not worthy of speaking to me." At first, Lin Fan was somewhat interested in the dwarf's beast control techniques. But after hearing Yi Shun's introduction, he instantly lost all desire. Lin Fan simply flicked his wrist. Boom! The devil shadow, whose name alone struck terror into hearts, exploded, disintegrating into a gruesome mess of flesh and bone. Witnessing this horrific scene, Wang Yuxing was petrified. The handsome young man exclaimed, "This guy is definitely incredibly powerful, a total freak." Hearing this, Yishin remained silent for a long moment, unsure of how to respond. According to the information he possessed, this man truly did wield terrifying, unparalleled power. He was certain he hadn't been mistaken. This dwarf was the infamous Devil Shadow from the Dark Web, the one who had even murdered a Heaven Realm expert. But how could such a powerful figure be eliminated so easily by Lin Fan? Who are you? Yishun watched Lin Fan's receding figure, a sense of unease rising within him. He had to investigate this man's true identity. Lin Fan returned to Chun Inua and his daughter's side. After experiencing the terrifying incident, the family was in no mood to continue their outing. Leaving the zoo, the three of them headed to the nearby Wanda shopping mall, whether enjoying hot pot or browsing through shops. Their wonderful day flowed effortlessly by, because tonight, Chun Inua and Ninian had a flight to Yunchuan with Qinshinhao. Lin Fan had to take the mother and daughter to Luku International Airport. Jinling, in the bustling airport terminal, Qinshinhao was waiting with a suitcase in hand. Seeing the three arrive, he quickly walked towards them. "Did you have fun today?" "Daddy, we had so much fun. You took Mommy and me to the zoo to see tigers. We had hot pot and went shopping. You even bought me so many pretty dresses." Ninian excitedly recounted the day. Ninian looked at Lin Fan and said, "Papa Lin, please sit down for a moment." Lin Fan was puzzled by the little girl's request, but he sat down as she asked. Ninian stood on her tiptoes and planted a soft kiss on Lin Fan's cheek. "This is a reward for you, Daddy. You're amazing." Lin Fan gently pinched his daughter's cheek, thinking to himself, "I need to spend more time with my precious daughter." In the Wu Ming's conference room, Yi Tianlong, Yun Zhong Tianwang, Yu Xian, Yi Shun, and others were heatedly discussing the terrifying incident that had occurred at the zoo. Hong San, the child prodigy of Wu Ming, spoke up. There was a young man who took down Gui Ying with a single, earth-shattering slap. Yi Tianlong asked seriously, "Did you witness this yourself? Is this true?" "How could I lie?" Gui Ying didn't even have time to react. Yi Shun was still in shock. The image of Lin Fan's face flashing in his mind, sending shivers down his spine. That guy's truly terrifying. Hearing this, Yi Tianlong fell into deep thought. Gui Ying's control methods are incredibly sinister and unpredictable. Even I had to expend considerable effort to subdue him. And yet, he was defeated by a young man, knocked out his opponent with a single slap. Could it be that punk could also kill me with one simple blow like that? At this moment, Wang Yuxian turned to young Master Yi and asked, "Young Master Yi, do you remember the face of that young man?" Yichen recounted the incident, describing Lin Fan's face in detail. After hearing Yi Chen's account, Wang Yueshuan's face suddenly changed, turning pale. Even Yun Zhongqian, who had remained silent until now, couldn't help but frown in deep thought. It really is him. In this Jinling, besides young Master Lin, who else possesses such terrifying power? This Lin Fan, is he truly as formidable as the rumors say? Yi Tianlong wondered. Yi Tianlong looked puzzled. This time, his visit to Jinling, besides investigating Lin, also carried another top-secret mission, to eliminate Lin Fan. He is indeed very powerful. Otherwise, I wouldn't need to report to my superiors, Yin Zhongtian said with a wry smile. Yin Zhongtian sighed, his face revealing a clear sense of helplessness. If this person is truly Lin Fan, then I advise Father not to provoke him. Yishan also gently tried to dissuade him. Yi Tianlong nodded slightly. We'll see what happens after meeting with Lin Fan tomorrow. Just then, Yi Tianlong's phone suddenly rang. Seeing the caller ID, he gestured for everyone to be quiet. He answered the phone with a smile. Grand Law Enforcer, are you calling to inquire about the incident at the Hongshan Zoo? Everything has been taken care of. We've eliminated Tian Sha's Gui Ying. Yi Tianlong, you went to Jinling to resolve the issue, and this is how you handled it. The Grand Law Enforcer's icy voice came from the other end of the line. Let me ask you, what was Gui Ying doing at the Hongshan Zoo? Was it just to kill a few children? Yi Tianlong was stunned. Indeed, with Gui Ying's strength, why would he waste time killing children? You've fallen for Tian Sha's empty city strategy. I just received a report. Gui Ying was just a pawn. The real assassin behind this is Feng Xingxia. Yi Tianlong, you've truly got me killed this time. I placed too much trust in you. The chief enforcer spoke with indignation. Feng Xingxia, he's even more powerful than Gui Ying. His cultivation is estimated to be at the Xiantian 4th stage. Furthermore, he's proficient in wind manipulation techniques, allowing him to briefly levitate and fly. This Feng Xingxia hijacked flight DBA 445 to Yunchuan and brutally murdered the 2 pilots on board. He even brazenly used a satellite phone to contact headquarters, openly mocking the senior leaders and infuriating everyone to the point of spitting blood. But why did Feng Xingxia hijack the plane? Was it just to kill innocent civilians? Yi Tianlong was puzzled, because on that plane, there was a crucial scientist for the Great Xian Nation. He wasn't just the head of Project Zone, but also the founder of the Cultivation Science Plant, a leading expert in the field of weaponry. If something were to happen to him, the Great Xia would suffer an immeasurable loss. Before jumping from the plane, Feng Xingji activated autopilot. In 20 minutes, the plane will crash directly into Mount Tai. By then, not only the scientist, but all the passengers on board will perish. Hearing this, Yi Tianlong's face turned deathly pale. Could it be? There's no other way? The only solution is to find 10 Martial Dao Grandmasters, have them fly there within 20 minutes, and stop the plane. But that's impossible. Absolutely impossible. The chief enforcer finished speaking and let out a heavy sigh. Things have come to this. I don't know what else to say. The higher-ups are furious. Not only you, but even I will be dismissed. You're on your own. With that, the other end hung up. Yi Tianlong clenched the phone in his hand, then collapsed to the ground. He never could have imagined. Could such a small oversight lead to such grave consequences? It turns out, the information about the terrorist attack at the Hongshan Zoo was an elaborate trap. The main objective was to lure me there, to create an opportunity for Feng Xingji to strike. At this critical moment, the large screen in the meeting room suddenly displayed a breaking news report. Breaking news. Flight DBA 445 has encountered a serious incident and is about to crash into a mountain. Residents in the surrounding area are urged to evacuate immediately. At the same time, Lin Fan had just returned to the hotel when he encountered a crowd gathered around the large screen, panicked and shouting. Damn it! Flight DBA 445 was just put into service 2 years ago, and it's already had such a catastrophic accident. Wah, my wife, she just took that flight to Yinchuan. If only I had stopped her. At first, Lin Fan didn't pay much attention, but when he heard the last sentence, Lin Fan's face instantly changed. He quickly scanned the phone screen with his divine sense. Flight DBA 445 was experiencing a serious malfunction and was about to crash. This was the flight that took off from Lukou International Airport, Jinling, at 7:30 p.m. Its destination was Yunchuan. This wasn't good. 7:30 p.m. from Lukou to Yunchuan. Wasn't this the exact flight Inua and Yin boarded? At that thought, Lin Fan trembled all over. No, I absolutely can't let anything happen to you and Yin. With that, he transformed into a lightning bolt, soaring into the night sky. The night sky twinkled with stars. At an altitude of about 2,000 meters, a plane was hurtling towards a distant mountain range. Inside the cabin, nearly 200 passengers were in a state of sheer panic, because just moments ago, a mysterious man had violently ripped open the cockpit door, brutally murdering the 2 pilots. After killing the pilots, the mysterious man entered the passenger cabin. He clapped his hands loudly, booming, "Ladies and gentlemen, I am Feng Xingxia from across the vast ocean. From this moment forward, you have only 20 minutes remaining. Savor these precious last moments." Unleash the darkest desires within your souls. Do the things you've always yearned for. Don't let life pass by with regrets. With that, Feng Xingzhe let out a boisterous laugh, threw open the cargo door, and jumped. The horrifying scene left all the passengers paralyzed in shock. As they snapped out of their stupor, the cabin pressure plummeted drastically. Howling winds rushed into the cabin. Fortunately, Chun Sanhao, a martial arts master who had reached the peak of the Earth realm, lunged forward and swiftly slammed the cargo door shut, averting a catastrophic disaster. But then, sheer terror gripped everyone. Both pilots were dead. The plane's course had been altered, switching to autopilot, and was now hurtling towards a towering mountain 200 kilometers away. This was clearly a meticulously planned terrorist attack. Panic seized the passengers on board. Some women buried their faces in their hands, sobbing hysterically. In first class, Nian Yin looked up at Chun Yinhuo with a worried expression. "Mommy, are we going to die?" "Don't be silly." Chun Yinhuo shook her head and turned to her brother, but she noticed his face was incredibly pale, a look of unease etched upon it. Just then, a quiet yet commanding voice rang out. "Everyone, please calm down. Panicking won't help." Everyone turned their heads towards the source of the sound. They saw a young man, barely in his 20s, speaking up. Despite his handsome features, the young man had a pale complexion, appearing rather frail. "The Great Tao is 50, the Heavenly Evolution 49, leaving one variable, and that is hope. No matter how dire the situation, there's always a way out. We have 20 minutes left. Instead of panicking and being afraid, shouldn't we try to find a way out of this?" At his words, everyone exchanged glances, falling into a heavy silence. A burly man stood up, his voice cold as he spoke. "Anyone can spout empty words like that. Do you have a solution then?" Hua Yunfei glanced at the man, but didn't reply. Instead, he turned to a girl in blue beside Xiao Qing. "Help me get to the cockpit." "Academician Hua." "You?" Xiao Qing asked anxiously. Hearing the word academician, everyone in the cabin gasped in surprise. Even Chun Sanhao and Chun Yinhuo furrowed their brows. This young man, barely in his 20s and seemingly so frail. How could he be an academician? Xiao Qing hesitated for a moment, then helped Hua Yunfei towards the cockpit. The others followed, curious to see what he intended to do. Hua Yunfei settled into the pilot's seat, observed for a moment, then began working the complex controls. About 30 seconds later, the rapidly descending plane suddenly began to regain its balance and ascend. Witnessing this scene, everyone on board erupted in cheers of joy. Turns out this guy actually knew how to fly a plane. You know how to fly? Chen Ganhao stammered in astonishment. "Not before, I just learned." Hua Yunfei shook his head, calmly saying, "Actually, flying a plane isn't that hard. Just put in a little effort to research and study, and you can quickly grasp it, know how to operate it." Hua Yunfei's words left everyone bewildered. No one believed what he had just said. Everyone assumed he already knew how to fly, and was just pretending he didn't. Even Chun Ganhao felt that this explanation was a bit far-fetched. Learn to fly a plane in just a few dozen seconds? That was truly hard to believe. Hua Yunfei didn't bother explaining further. He continued to focus on operating the control panel. Now he needed to disable the autopilot and manually fly the plane back. But the programming code for this autopilot system, clearly, that guy has tampered with and modified the system. He had to find a way to fix it quickly. Time ticked by relentlessly. Beads of sweat increasingly formed on Hua Yunfei's forehead. "Academician Hua," Xiao Qing said, standing beside him with worry etched on his face. Hua Yunfei remained silent, not responding. He pulled out his laptop and quickly connected to the control server. His fingers flew across the keyboard with lightning speed. But just then, Hua Yunfei suddenly collapsed to the ground. The three academicians, including Xiao Qing, paled. They rushed to help Hua Yunfei up. The others also looked anxious. But most of them weren't truly concerned for Hua Yunfei's health, but rather worried that if he remained unconscious, who would pilot the plane? "Hey, buddy, it's been 10 minutes. Quit playing possum. Our lives are in your hands." The burly man, the one who had just coldly yelled, "Stop playing dead," continued in a gruff voice. "Turn off autopilot and get us back. If you don't, I'll take your life." Chun Ganhao delivered a thunderous slap, sending the man flying. He rushed over to help Hua Yunfei up, then turned to Xiao Qing and asked, "What's wrong with him?" "He has amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS. He was planning to fly to Yunchuan to seek treatment from a renowned doctor, but unexpectedly encountered this accident. His health condition doesn't allow him to make this trip." Xiao Qing burst into tears. Ever since she was entrusted by her superiors to care for Hua Yunfei, she had held a deep respect for him. Unfortunately, fate played a cruel trick, afflicting him with this terrible disease at such a young age, only 19. It's a terminal motor neuron disease that eventually leads to complete paralysis and inevitable death. 2 minutes later, Hua Yunfei suddenly collapsed in the driver's seat, gasping for air. "I'm sorry. My illness, it's too severe. My whole body is paralyzed. I can't do anything anymore." Hearing this, the surrounding crowd erupted, some in utter despair, others in seething rage. "What in the world are you doing? If you want to die, go ahead. But don't drag us down with you. You gave us a glimmer of hope, only to snatch it away like that. You're saying sorry? What kind of person are you? Wake up. Wake up now." A woman rushed forward, attempting to pull Hua Yunfei awake. But Chun Sanhao delivered a resounding slap, sending her flying. "Anyone else who dares to make a sound will be sent to the Yellow Springs first." As soon as he spoke, the screaming crowd fell silent, leaving only terror in its wake. Facing death, everyone lost their composure. Only 3 minutes left. Hua Yunfei closed his eyes, reflecting on his life. He was the young master of the Hua family, a prestigious martial arts clan in the capital. He should have lived a life of luxury, enjoying wealth and glory. But he was born with blocked meridians, unable to cultivate martial arts, leading to his rejection and abandonment by the family. His parents, in search of the dragon blood herb, a mystical herb that could open his meridians, embarked on a sea voyage and met with disaster. Both perished at sea, their bodies never recovered. He was not resigned to his fate, yearning to change his destiny, desiring to find another path to cultivation. But life was cruel. A reed bends in the wind, and misfortune befalls the downtrodden. Just as his passion project received high praise from his superiors, right as he stood at the dazzling peak of his career, tragedy struck. He was diagnosed with the devastating illness, ALS. Just then, little Nien Yin suddenly called out, "Mommy, Mommy, look. Someone's flying in the sky." Chen Yinhua followed her daughter's pointing finger and looked out the window. Through the thick, blurry glass, she caught a glimpse of a figure suspended in midair, but the night was too dark for her to see the person's face clearly. Witnessing this defiance of gravity, martial arts grandmaster Chun Sanhao was stunned, his pupils constricting. At the same time, the other passengers in the cabin also witnessed this bizarre sight. A glimmer of hope flickered across their despairing faces. "It's a deity. A deity has come to save us." In the next moment, the plane felt like it was grasped by a gigantic, invisible hand and began to descend rapidly. In the blink of an eye, the plane landed safely in a deserted field. The passenger door was kicked open. Lin Fan stepped inside, his gaze fixed on Chun Yinhua and her daughter. Seeing his wife and daughter safe and sound, he breathed a sigh of relief. A huge weight lifted from his shoulders. Daddy, you came to save us." Nian Nian cheered, waving her hands excitedly. Lin Fan strode forward, embracing Chun Yinhua and his daughter tightly. "It's all right now. It's all over. Everything's okay. Daddy's here." Not long after everyone left, 7 figures silently emerged from the darkness. Leading the group was an elderly man in a dignified robe, his face radiating authority. It was none other than Long Outyin. He was one of the 2 renowned Grand Enforcers of Jiangnan. The 6 men following him were the 6 enforcement officers from the 6 largest cities of Jiangnan. Among them were Yun Zhongtian and Yi Tianlong, masters of great renown. "Grand Enforcer, allow me to scout the way ahead." "Very well, but be wary of traps," Long Outyin instructed. "Yes, sir," Ma Dongfeng replied respectfully. Then his figure shot into the air with a swift movement. He landed softly in front of the airplane. He was about to open the plane's door. But at that moment, the emergency exit suddenly burst open. A group of panicked passengers rushed out. Leading the group was the burly man from before. "What? You're all still alive?" Ma Dongfeng narrowed his eyes, his gaze sharp. "What do you mean by that? Do you want us to be dead?" The muscular man roared furiously. Ma Dongfeng was about to explain, but just then, Long Outyin and his entourage arrived. Their overwhelming presence frightened the burly man, who quickly lowered his head and stammered. "Just now, a deity saved us. An immortal, floating in the air, who held the plane and helped us land safely. Without them, we would all be dead." The other passengers chimed in, supporting his claim. "We can testify. A deity really did appear. News of flight DBA 445 being saved by a deity. All 198 passengers safe. Not a single one injured, quickly spread like wildfire across social media. Not long after leaving the conference room, Ma Dongfeng received a call from one of his subordinates. Sir, that big guy just went to eat barbecue. I've already sent someone to take care of him. Good. How dare he disrespect me? He's practically begging for death. Feeling a sense of relief, Ma Dongfeng hung up. A chilling glint of murderous intent flashed across his eyes. He pulled out his satellite phone and dialed a number. Dear Mr. Ma, you're calling to ask if the plane exploded, aren't you? A scoff. Feng Xingzhi's sarcastic voice echoed from the other end of the line. Explode your head. Haven't you checked the news? Flight DBA 445 was saved by a mysterious expert. All the passengers are safe and sound, except for the 2 pilots you had killed. I'm asking you, why didn't you eliminate everyone on board? Do you have any idea the risks I took to help you? Secretly infiltrating Daxia, Ma Dongfeng said indignantly. Feng Xingzhi was silent for a moment, then said, Indeed, Great Xia is an ancient nation shrouded in mystery. The rumors about deities being forbidden from setting foot here seem to be true. In this land, exceptional masters still lie hidden. Cut the crap. Ma Dongfeng interrupted with a look of disgust. I've investigated the scientist's identity. His name is Hua Yunfei. Tonight is your only chance to eliminate him. Otherwise, tomorrow long out yin. The chief enforcer of Jiangnan will personally protect him. I'll send you the location. Act quickly and don't allow for any mistakes. Jinling Hotel. Lin Fan and the others returned to their room. As soon as they entered, Chen Sanhao hurriedly asked, What in the world happened? Did you stop the plane and save us? Who else could it be? Besides me, who else has the ability and compassion to save you? Lin Fan casually sat down on the sofa and spoke calmly. Hearing this, Chen Ganhao's heart was in turmoil. He knew Lin Fan possessed extraordinary strength, but only thought he was a 3rd or 4th level Xiantian expert. At this moment, he realized his assumption was completely wrong. Could it be you're a martial Dao Grandmaster? If Lin Fan truly was a martial Dao Grandmaster, he could confidently go to Yunchuan with the Chun family. And then, who would dare to utter a word? You've asked me this question before. I told you, I'm not a martial Dao Grandmaster, but a realm beyond even that. Then, a realm beyond martial Dao Grandmaster. What exactly is that? Chen Ganhao frowned, his face full of doubt. Lin Fan pondered for a moment and said, Yuan Ying, stop talking nonsense. What realm? It has nothing to do with martial Dao. Even if you're making it up, at least make it sound believable. Lin Fan glanced at Chen Sanhao with an indifferent expression, not bothering to explain. Cultivation and martial arts were fundamentally different systems, like fire and water. Explaining the wonders of cultivation to someone immersed in martial arts was like playing a lute to a buffalo, a pointless endeavor. Inua, what exactly happened to the plane? Lin Fan turned his gaze towards Chun Inua, awaiting her answer. Before Chun Inua could speak, Nian Yin eagerly raised her hand. I know. It was caused by a very arrogant man. He called himself the Great Wind God. It sounded so cool. Lin Fan chuckled in amusement and exasperation. Great Wind God? What a strange name. At this moment, Chun Sanhao spoke up. Let me explain. The hijacker was a top international assassin. His name is Feng Xingzhi, also known as Wind God. He's a superhuman with the terrifying ability to control wind, possessing immense power. Ranking among the top assassins on the dark web, the infamous underground network. Another foreign assassin? Lin Fan frowned, displeasure evident on his face. From Wind, Ghost Shadow, to this Feng Xingzhi. In just a short amount of time, 3 foreign assassins have appeared. This is definitely not a good omen. No matter how strong he is, if he dares to touch my wife and children, then there's only one path for him: death. Lin Fan radiated a chilling, killing intent. At that very moment, boom, the hotel room's window shattered into pieces. Surprised? Feng Xingzhi laughed heartily, strolling in as if he were taking a walk in his own garden. Feng Xingzhi. Seeing the man who had just appeared, Chun Qianhao felt a chill run down his spine. This was the 23rd floor of the hotel. Yet Feng Xingzhi could easily fly up here, without using any tools. D-Dad, it's him. Nian Yin's face went pale with fear, and she quickly huddled in Lin Fan's arms. Clearly, Feng Xingzhi had left a deep psychological scar on the little girl. Chen Yinua also became incredibly tense. She never expected Feng Xingzhi to find him here. He was a notorious serial killer, with a bounty on his head of 12 billion. Not only did he possess a twisted mind, but he also wielded terrifying power. With a single, effortless leap, he could easily reach the 23rd floor of the towering hotel. But he never expected that. An assassin who had never tasted defeat like him would be taken down by a man with an utterly ordinary appearance. This is how the story begins. Not long before, Feng Xingji received an assassination order, secretly infiltrating Lin Fan's room. So many beautiful women in this room. How exciting, he exclaimed with delight. Feng Xingji laughed maniacally, dancing wildly like a madman. I thought Gu Ying was sick enough, but you're even more twisted. Lin Fan slowly stood up. Hearing this, Chun Kan Hao was stunned. Was Lin Fan intentionally trying to provoke him to death? If Lin Fan isn't strong enough to deal with this Feng Xingji, the Qin family will surely face a catastrophe. Pervert. Why do I like that title so much? Feng Xingji looked at Lin Fan, his tongue snaking out to lick his lips in a disturbing manner. Disgusted, Lin Fan flicked his wrist. He. Feng Xingji laughed loudly. An invisible shield suddenly appeared in front of him, condensed from a powerful surge of true qi. Crack! The shield shattered, but Feng Xingji remained unharmed. Lin Fan was surprised. Even though he had only used a fraction of his power, it should have been enough to kill any ordinary martial arts expert at the Xiantian realm. This guy actually withstood it. Since he left seclusion, this was the first time someone had blocked even a casual attack from him. A flicker of excitement ignited within Lin Fan. Finally, someone who could take a hit. But Chen Hao didn't see it that way. In his memories, Lin Fan always took down his opponents with a single slap. However, Lin Fan was intercepted by Feng Xingji. This proved that Feng Xingji's power was comparable to Lin Fan's. Could Lin Fan be defeated? Anxiety gnawed at him. Not bad. You live up to your reputation as the one who killed Gu Ying. Feng Xingji looked Lin Fan up and down, contempt in his eyes. Gu Ying was my sworn brother. You dare to kill him. So from now on, you will take his place. If you are willing to submit, I will spare everyone here. Chen Qianhao was overjoyed at these words and hastily urged Lin Fan to agree. Lin Fan kicked Chen Qianhao. What do you mean by sworn brother? Are we lovers now? Feng Xingji burst out laughing. A shiver ran down Lin Fan's spine at Feng Xingji's words. Screw you. Without hesitation, Lin Fan threw a punch. Before Feng Xingji could react, he was sent flying, crashing hard against the wall. Damn it! Chen Qianhao was utterly terrified. Just at that moment, Feng Xingji bolted upright, leaping out the window without hesitation. He might be crazy, but he wasn't stupid. Witnessing Lin Fan easily overpower him, he knew he was outmatched and instantly decided to flee. You underestimate me. I can fly. My speed can reach supersonic in short bursts. Even if I can't defeat you, I can still escape unscathed. Lin Fan scoffed, extending his right hand, casually snatching Feng Xingji from midair. Suddenly yanked back by an overwhelming force, Lin Fan tightened his grip around Feng Xingji's neck. The smile on Feng Xingji's face vanished, replaced by an expression of pure terror. Lin Fan used his soul-searching technique. Feng Xingji's entire memory flooded into his mind. First, Feng Xingji was planted in Daxia by someone known as Mr. Ma, infiltrating the country. His mission was to assassinate a scientist named Hua Yunfei. Secondly, Feng Xingji's ability to control the wind wasn't an innate talent, but originated from a wind spirit stone. Lin Fan carefully searched Feng Xingji's body and found 5 pale green spirit stones. Besides pure, unattributed spirit stones, there are many types of spirit stones with different attributes. Wind spirit stones could be used to set up formations for cultivating movement techniques, especially useful for those with a wind spirit body. Witnessing this, Nian Nian curiously asked her father, "Dad, what does gong mean?" Lin Fan looked at his innocent little daughter, pondered for a moment, then gently explained. Gong means attack. In a way, it's similar to a fence. In a lavish and extravagant villa, Ma Dongfeng was relaxing on the sofa, eyes closed. Suddenly, he opened his eyes and glanced at the clock. It was past 11 p.m. What's that Feng Xingji doing? Why haven't I received a report yet? Ma Dongfeng's face darkened as he abruptly stood up and grabbed his phone. Activating the satellite signal, he dialed. A woman's voice answered. The subscriber you have dialed is currently unreachable. Hearing the automated message, Ma Dongfeng froze. A sense of foreboding washed over him. Something bad must have happened to Feng Xingji. Otherwise, his phone wouldn't be off. Even a typical martial arts grandmaster might not be able to defeat Feng Xingxia. His anxiety intensified. After a moment of contemplation, he dialed another number. This time, the call connected quickly. Something's happened. Guiying is dead. I just tried calling Feng Xingxia, but I couldn't reach him. Silence hung heavy on the other end of the line. Then a deep, somber voice responded. Feng Xingxia is dead. The biochip in his body has lost all signal. If Hua Yunfei is not eliminated, the consequences will be dire. The voice was ice cold. Now, you may leave. I will send Dao Ma to intercept Long Outyin. At any cost, Hua Yunfei must be eliminated this time. As for the matter with Gui Ying and Feng Xingxia, we will investigate later. Ma Dongfeng respectfully replied, yes. He donned his ninja garb and silently vanished into the darkness of the night. In a luxurious room at the Martial Arts Alliance headquarters, Hua Yunfei had just finished bathing, relaxing on a plush sofa, engrossed in a novel titled The Supreme Emperor. But after reading for a while, he furrowed his brow. At that moment, Xiao Qing was gently massaging Hua Yunfei's feet, and seeing this, she asked with concern, young Master Hua, what's wrong? It's nothing, I just got to the exciting part, and it ended. Hua Yunfei replied, I wonder when the author will release the next chapter. Will I even live to finish this series? Hua Yunfei sighed and shook his head in exasperation. Xiao Qing suddenly remembered Hua Yunfei's critical condition, feeling both heartbroken and frustrated. That darn author, she exclaimed. Why couldn't they write a few more chapters? Just then, the massive gates of the Jinling Martial Alliance burst into splinters. A man clad in black, a gleaming golden sword gripped in his hand, stormed inside. His face was concealed by a black cloth, revealing only eyes as cold as ice. Yet, the aura emanating from him was terrifying, sending shivers down people's spines. The golden sword in his hand radiated a sharp, cold light, chilling to the bone under the pale moonlight. Who are you, daring to cause trouble at the Jinling Martial Alliance? Yang Dingtian, the vice leader of the alliance, demanded coldly. The man didn't answer. He swung his sword, delivering a fatal blow. The sharp sword energy tore through the air, and a scream pierced the silence. Yang Dingtian collapsed, dead on the spot. Witnessing this horrific scene, everyone present was petrified, trembling in fear. Yang Dingtian, a renowned mid-stage Earth Realm expert, was felled by this mysterious man with a single sword strike. Charge! Together, Yishun roared furiously. Hearing the command, everyone charged without hesitation, swarming the man like a disturbed beehive. You insignificant ants dare to cause trouble, the man uttered coldly. In the blink of an eye, less than a minute, dozens of elite martial artists were slaughtered by him, more than half falling. Even Yi Shun nearly lost his life under the man's sharp blade. Stop! Wang Yuexian shouted, emerging from the restroom just in time. He was a third-stage postnatal expert, having reached the terrifying realm of projecting internal energy. With a single wave of his hand, a surge of violent energy slammed towards the man. You overestimate yourself. The man scoffed disdainfully. He sheathed his sword, then suddenly unleashed an earth-shattering strike towards Wang Yuexian. A tragic cry rang out as Wang Yuexian was struck, sent flying, his body crashing heavily to the ground. Hearing the loud impact, Yi Tianlong and Yun Zhongtian immediately rushed over. The two enforcers roared in unison, simultaneously launching an attack on the mysterious man. The man didn't flinch, his expression remaining calm and composed. Despite being surrounded by two attackers, he showed no signs of weakness, even gaining the upper hand. Witnessing this scene, the faces of the remaining martial artists turned pale. Cross-slash, the man roared, swinging his sword and unleashing two incredibly sharp, cross-shaped bursts of energy. Yun Zhongtian couldn't dodge in time and was struck by the energy blasts. Yi Tianlong's face paled, realizing that even if he fought with all his might, he would be no match for this man. While fending off the relentless attacks, he shouted, "Get Academician Hua out of here. Nothing must happen to Academician Hua." Yin Zhongtian, enduring the pain, spoke up. "Xiao Chun, don't hesitate any longer. I just tried contacting the Chief Justice, but I couldn't get through. I'm sure something terrible has happened to him as well. Hurry to the Jinling Hotel and find Lin Fan. Right now, in Jinling, he's probably the only one who can stop this villain." Dad, at the Jinling Hotel's presidential suite, Lin Fan is engrossed in watching Dragon Ball Z with his little daughter, Nian Nian. With his daughter, Daddy, why are there 7 Dragon Balls in that gourd? Yin Yin looked up, her face full of curiosity, and asked, It doesn't make any sense. Lin Fan pondered for a moment and replied, Well, it all started when son Wukong snuck into the peach garden, stole some peaches, and Lin Fan was about to continue the story when suddenly there was a frantic knocking at the door. Knock, knock, knock. The knocking was incredibly urgent, mixed with faint cries for help. Assassins again? Chen Yinhuo exclaimed worriedly. Lin Fan immediately used his divine sense to scan outside. Upon seeing Wang Yuexian, Yi Chun, and 2 others standing right in front of his house, Lin Fan frowned and went to open the door. Seeing Lin Fan, Wang Yuexian's face lit up with relief, tears welling in his eyes. Young Master Lin, thank goodness, I finally found you. Young Master Lin, do you remember me? We met at the zoo earlier today. Yichen gave a wry smile, embarrassment evident on his face. Hua Wenfei and Xiao Qing silently observed Lin Fan without saying a word. Are you being chased? Did you come here to hide? You look pathetic. Lin Fan looked at the 4 people before him, his gaze sharp. Coming here so late at night. Did you ever consider that I might not be their match, and that you could be putting my life in danger? What if I had to go out tonight, leaving only my wife and children at home? Wouldn't you be sending my family to their deaths? Hearing these words, all 4 fell silent, their faces paling. They really didn't see this coming. Thump! Thump! Heavy, rhythmic footsteps echoed from the end of the hallway. A man clad in black, his hand gripping a golden sword, slowly advanced. The blood on the blade was still fresh, not yet dried. Hua Wenfei, supported by Xiao Qing, was as pale as a sheet. Is this it? Are we going to die for sure? The man coldly swept his gaze over the group, his eyes finally landing on Lin Fan. Seeing no trace of martial aura around Lin Fan, he turned away with disdain, dismissing them as mere ants. Tonight, no one can save you. Where's my father and old Yin? Yi Shun's eyes were bloodshot as he growled the question. The man laughed heartily. What do you think? With that, he lunged forward, swinging his sword. But at that critical moment, Lin Fan calmly extended 2 fingers, clamping down on the sharp blade. Lin Fan lightly snapped his fingers, and the man was instantly sent flying. He stumbled back more than 10 steps before managing to steady himself. Witnessing this scene, Yi Chun was utterly speechless. An assassin possessing such terrifying power that even his father and old Yun together couldn't stand against him, was easily sent flying by Lin Fan with just 2 fingers. Wang Yuexian, overjoyed, quickly hid behind Lin Fan. Young Master Lin, you are truly incredibly powerful. Enough with the flattery. Remember, you owe me 100 spirit explosive rounds. Rest assured, young master, our martial union never goes back on its word. Wang Yuexian hastily nodded repeatedly. He alone certainly wouldn't be able to gather 100 spirit explosive rounds. But the entire martial union was a different story. The man regained his senses, glaring fiercely at Lin Fan. Fierce dragon void strike. He poured all his internal energy into the longsword in his hand, unleashing a powerful slash towards Lin Fan. Sword chi condensed into the form of a ferocious golden dragon, roaring furiously, its jaws wide open, charging straight at Lin Fan. Boom! With a simple flick of his finger, Lin Fan made the gigantic golden dragon vanish in an instant. He snatched the golden sword as if it were a child's toy. A sword isn't wielded like that. Lin Fan deftly spun the precious blade, and 1,000 razor-sharp sword images materialized, hovering and swirling around him, exuding an earth-shattering, murderous aura. Witnessing this spectacle, everyone fell silent, frozen in place. Wang Yuexian and Yi Shun gaped in astonishment. Isn't this the myriad swords returned to one technique? The black-clad assassin stared, unable to believe his eyes. Who is this guy? One sword transformed into 10,000, each one brimming with terrifying power, enough to destroy heaven and earth. Even Dao Ma, the renowned martial arts grandmaster, couldn't execute such a devastating technique. Suddenly, the assassin's eyes widened in realization as he exclaimed in terror, Gui Ying and Feng Xingzhe, could it be you killed them? You're incredibly strong. I must report this to the organization immediately request stronger assassins. Otherwise, the consequences will be dire. With that, the assassin pulled out a jet-black sphere and slammed it into the ground. His entire body suddenly transformed into a wisp of smoke, vanishing into thin air. Ninjutsu. This guy is Japanese. Yichin exclaimed in astonishment. Lin Fan raised an eyebrow, a flicker of surprise on his face. This Earth-Duan technique is quite interesting, he mused. It's somewhat similar to the Chimin Duanjia of Chinese Taoism. I suspect the Japanese must have stolen it, Lin Fan speculated. If he had encountered anyone else, he might have escaped successfully. Unfortunately for him, he ran into me. Reveal your true form. Lin Fan roared. He stretched out his hand, gently grasping at the empty space before him. The black-clad assassin, who had just vanished, was instantly captured by Lin Fan. This time, Lin Fan didn't give him a chance to speak. He directly employed his ultimate technique, the soul-searching art. The assassin trembled violently before falling unconscious. The 100 Demons Cult, Lin Fan murmured. This man's Chinese name is Ma Dongfeng, and his Japanese name is Igawa Kojiro. He's a swordsman, a member of the 100 Demons Cult. The 100 Demons Cult and the Heavenly Slaughter are both notorious assassin organizations in the Jianghu. Furthermore, Lin Fan discovered something else. Another Japanese expert was hiding in Jinling. This master is a highly skilled practitioner of the supreme blade technique, known by the moniker Blade Demon. His power has reached the revered realm of martial arts grandmaster. Tonight, Blade Demon has been tasked with a critical mission to intercept Long Outyin. Meanwhile, Ma Dongfeng has been entrusted with the assassination of Hua Yunfei. Suddenly, Yi Shun stepped forward and ripped off the assassin's mask. Upon seeing the man's true face, he gasped in horror. Ma Dongfeng, Enforcement Officer Ma. Everyone was stunned into silence. Wang Yuexian, in a fit of rage, charged forward like a storm, unleashing a flurry of blows upon Ma Dongfeng. Amidst the chaos, a rapid succession of footsteps echoed from the end of the hallway. Long Outyin, along with Yun Zhongtian and Yi Tian, appeared. Long Outyin, his body covered in wounds, ran to Long Fan's side. Long Fan's gaze swept over the three men, then landed on Long Outyin with a look of astonishment. The blood chi within Long Outyin surged violently, like roaring ocean waves. Within his dantian, a spherical object hovered in midair. This mysterious object pulsed with immense energy, like a heart beating with a powerful, rhythmic thud. A surge of energy coursed through Long Outyin's body. This was the realm of the martial arts grandmaster. Although he hadn't yet condensed a golden core, Long Outyin had already formed a martial core. According to Chun Sanhao, a martial arts grandmaster was the absolute pinnacle, the supreme being in the world of martial arts. Seeing his father safe and sound, Yi Shun was overjoyed, tears streaming down his face. Father, are you all right? I almost met my ancestors. Fortunately, the chief enforcer arrived in time and saved our lives. Yi Tianlong said with a smile after hearing the whole story. Long Outyin looked at Lin Fan, a rare warm smile appearing on his usually stern face. A rare, warm smile graced his usually stern features. Young brother, thank you for your help this time. You don't need to be so formal. You all avenged me. I will remember this kindness. I couldn't just stand by and do nothing. Seeing this, Wang Yuexian hurriedly stepped forward and recounted everything that had just happened. After hearing this, Long Outyin's face darkened. Are you stupid? Spirit birthstones are priceless treasures. In these scarce times, they're worth billions per stone. Do you think they're vegetables at the market? You can buy as many as you want. You can ask for as much as you want, and you dare demand 100 pills? Grand Law Enforcement Officer, the situation was extremely critical at that time. Wang Yuexian was about to explain, but Long Outyin kicked him out with one swift blow. Useless. You were sent flying with a single slap at the Jiang family, disgracing the martial alliance. And now you've committed such a foolish act. You truly are trash. Long Outyin spat coldly. Yi Tian, Long Yun, Zhong Tian, and the others witnessing this scene remained silent, not daring to utter a single word. In Jiangnan, Long Outyin was the ultimate authority, an invincible existence. Even prominent figures from the mountains held him in awe. After punishing Wang Yuexian, Long Outyin turned his gaze towards Lin Fan. Little brother, Wang Yuexian's words cannot represent the entire martial alliance, much less the Special Operations Bureau. Furthermore, to be honest, as a citizen of the Great Xia, protecting pillars of the state, Important figures like Royal Academician Hua is simply our duty, and yet you demand a fee of 100 spirit treasure stones? Isn't that utterly absurd? However, I can authorize a payment of 10 stones. Lin Fan narrowed his eyes, his voice icy. I hate being played the fool. If it weren't for me, these people would be dead. If you want to welch on our deal, then I'll send them all on a one-way trip to the underworld. Consider it fair payment. With that, Lin Fan suddenly grabbed Hua Yunfei, holding him in a vice-like grip. Lin Fan, release guard Hua. Long Out Yin roared, his voice laced with fury. A terrifying aura erupted from him, the oppressive pressure of a martial arts grandmaster crashing down like a storm. But it seemed to have no effect on Lin Fan. Long Out Yin was taken aback. Lin Fan tightened his grip, Hua Yunfei's face turning purple, his breath coming in ragged gasps. Witnessing this, Long Out Yin couldn't maintain his composure any longer. Stop! I agree to 100 spirit treasure stones. Release Royal Academician Hua now. I apologize, but it's no longer just 100 pills. I must increase the reward. I want 200 pills. Long Out Yin was so furious, he nearly coughed up blood. Fine, I'll give you 200 pills. Quickly release Royal Academician Hua. Lin Fan nodded in agreement and released Hua Yunfei. Aren't you afraid Long Out Yin will go back on his word? Now free, Hua Yunfei coughed violently and incessantly. Shao Qing, bring Royal Academician Hua to me, Long Out Yin said coldly. Shao Qing silently nodded in response. She helped Hua Yunfei to Long Out Yin's side. Witnessing this scene, everyone felt a sense of unease. Long Out Yin was a stubborn and obstinate man who wouldn't tolerate anyone defying him. Now, Lin Fan had dared to humiliate him in front of this large crowd. Before so many witnesses, Lin Fan would surely face brutal retaliation. Just now, with Hua Yunfei as a hostage, Long Out Yin still had to show some restraint. Now that Hua Yunfei had been taken away, Lin Fan seemed to have run out of cards to play. In their eyes, although Lin Fan was extraordinarily powerful, he was certainly no match for Long Out Yin. Once the two of them clashed, Lin Fan would be swiftly and utterly defeated. Sure enough, in the next moment, boom, an earth-shattering aura erupted from Long Out Yin's body. The terrifying pressure made everyone feel suffocated. Long Out Yin stared fixedly at Lin Fan, murderous intent blazing in his eyes. I knew you would do something like this. Your words are truly like the wind, making me feel nauseous. Lin Fan sighed, preparing to make his move. He was the only remaining martial Dao Grandmaster in Jiangnan, not only commanding over 3,000 peak Earth Realm experts, but even the secluded sects and high mountains held him in awe and respect. And yet now, he was being threatened by a young man, demanding a colossal ransom of 200 billion. Faced with this blatant threat, Long Out Yin glared at Lin Fan, his eyes as sharp as knives. An overwhelming aura emanated from him, a powerful pressure that thickened the air, making everyone around him feel suffocated and breathless.